Hi guys, welcome to earnings season. I'm at RT Rowe, Randy Rowe.
And I'm Donati Ishanai.
And as always, we have hopefully interesting content for you this week, whichever week this is. I suspect this won't come out in a very topical week, which is sad because we're going to talk about topical-ish things. And I'm sure people are going to ask us a lot about Trans-Jamaica.
Oh, definitely.
So I'm sure we'll come up this episode because it's the first time we're recording since it's out.
Yeah.
And this week we have guests with us, two guests. One I'm known for a while and one I just met this evening. So and they're both listeners, I'm happy to say. So I will allow them to introduce themselves because they know how it goes on this podcast. And I really don't want to screw anybody's intro up. So I'll start with you on the left there.
Gordon Swaby. I'm Gordon Swaby on Twitter.
The verified tick.
Yeah.
And my name is Jermaine Henry, at Jermaine A. Henry on Twitter, CEO and founder of Flow Factor.
Flow Factor, wow. And Gordon.
CEO of Edifocal Limited.
I'm surprised that you didn't lead with that.
Yeah.
we don't have to anymore.
Wow.
That's a joke.
I like that. So in case you don't know, Gordon is one who I've known for a while.
Well, most people don't know that actually.
Yeah,
the modern people don't know that.
Post, what is this? Post 2016 Twitter?
Yeah.
Post 2016 Twitter would know that. Yeah. Shout out to old Twitter.
Yep.
Oh, wait, I'm post 2016. Damn. Oh, 2016. Cool.
Before quoted tweets and trolling. Well, there's always been trolling.
Yeah. Trolling will never
Probably
die.
more trolling back then.
Yeah. No, I probably would. Definitely worse now.
So, gentlemen, people always wonder why it is we don't start this podcast with like a set thing. What is it that we're doing? Oh God, it's an interview episode and it's two guys this time. I know for a fact that one of them love chat and the other one, I mean, he holds his own. He's apparently used to being around people who love chat. So you'll do well on this podcast. So I don't know where to start. If I should start off with, actually I'll start off with the words important because we do need to talk stock. What something hot that's happening this week, and this week for us is
So, I mean,
we're a few days
Caribbean
out
Trans
of
Brokers.
Well, that's 2 days ago.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was dropped out. It came out on Friday.
People were complaining about the design of the prospectus document.
That's the least, though. Like, if you're talking like cosmetic.
I'd prefer
Definitely. I
prefer
love
a shitty designed prospectus that has great information and a lot of value versus one that is well designed and no value, like a lot of things out there.
Exactly, I agree completely. So, okay, it's not how you like it to look. You think that's unattractive. Can you read it?
Yeah.
You'll be fine then.
Yeah, they can put out the nicer version after.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Prospectus is a legal document. What do you feel, Jeremy?
I mean, it's just about content. It's about if it's solid, it's solid. It doesn't really matter.
You've seen some no frills prospectus before.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's a recent thing, right? To just make things beautiful. Barita did a great job with their annual reports, and everybody kind of just, everybody kind of went down the same. Everybody kind of just went down the same path. With that minimalistic design, really quoting, those KPIs, and then with the prospectus, since it's been so hot, especially since Wigton. Wigton went on a big marketing campaign. First Rock did the same thing. Like maybe Caribbean assurance brokers, they're kind of just like, well, we're very bare bones, very practical. We just want to get something done.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's the culture of the company.
Yeah. I'm biased about the cab IPO though, because I met the CEO a couple of years ago in Trinidad, and I've seen that company grow. I remember when they moved to the location that they have now, and he outfitted the entire place with solar. This is long before solar was a thing.
The sun has been around for a while.
Yeah, the sun has been around for a while, but I'm biased. I have not properly gone through the prospectus yet, but
same actually.
definitely I'm going to spend some time going through those 175 pages.
Our content pages.
Still nothing compared to Trans-Jamaica.
I think it's 175 pages.
Oh, 290 something?
242,
Yeah.
I think. Shout out to, I'm forgetting his name.
For trans, I'm just going to go by what the brokerage houses are saying. Everybody's saying buy.
I think it's Trev. Sorry to cut you. I wanted to shout out properly. Trev IB me.
Oh, Trevor. Yeah, he said.
Yeah, and I'm saying that. I'm saying the name how I say it in my head.
Oh, same.
Yeah, so I know there's underscores and I don't know there, but I mean, shout out to him. I put him in name in the show notes.
I bought Trans Highway today.
You as in you applied for the IPO?
Yeah, man, for sure.
You read the prospectus?
That's what I was saying. I went through it, but I am just...
A yes or no question.
I read the prospectus, but I need to read it again.
Have you read the prospectus?
I did.
Full?
I read it, but I need to read it again because there are some things that I didn't properly go through.
Like what?
Like the numbers and what they plan to spend the money on, what they plan to do their debt. A number of things that I need to go through properly. Yeah.
I like that.
I haven't read it straight, I just bounce all around. Have an idea.
I mean, I kind of skipped to some of the most important parts.
What are the most important
Important
parts? I get asked that question every day these days.
I was looking at. I kind of skipped to the financials.
First thing.
Yeah, I skipped to that was the first thing I went to. I was like, all right, scroll. I mean,
First thing you went to is the financials.
first thing I went to was the financials.
You know what I find interesting? It's just my opinion. I find that we don't spend a lot of time looking at management in Jamaica, like leadership. Leadership does not have personality in Jamaica, at least for listed companies. You don't hear anybody talking about the CEOs and what they're doing for the company, what their vision is.
I think they do have personality, but you have to coach it within the confines of what Jamaica really is. I think it's ultra personality, and then in Jamaica we'll have a fearful culture where you can. It is legitimately possible in Jamaica to insult somebody by not. When you were speaking about them, the thing you were saying was not how great they were. You didn't have to actually say they're doing something bad enough. You can just talk about them. Or you can reference them in a way that maybe they don't understand and are not sure what you're saying.
Yeah.
Say, X, you diss me.
I mean, if we ever listed...
No, but I want you to understand that. That's where we're coming from. So...
Yeah, I mean, if I ever decided...
about, let's say like a Mr. Mahfood.
Yeah.
In terms of his culture, other than every company's workers in the ads say how great they are, right? The only people I said ever like them was the glass company. What's the glass company? Where they shoot at management.
Alcor, windows and doors, Alcor.
That's a free ad.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alcor.
Shout out to Alcor.
Shooting at employees.
But if we ever listed, I'd have no problem with being criticized.
You have no choice. That's how it works.
Yeah, I don't have a choice.
But you have a choice, but
Yeah.
it's great when you have no problem with things you don't have a choice.
Exactly. But it doesn't happen a lot now, in my opinion.
What, you don't get criticized?
No, I'm talking about listed companies don't get... The leadership does not get criticized as often as...
I see.
Yeah.
I know. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, but that's what I was trying to get at. That's what I was trying to say at one point, that it is actually ultra personality based. It's personalized completely.
So yeah, you can't don't talk. Better you not say anything than say something.
Fair enough.
Well, I'm going to. You're kind of alluding to the point that we skipped to the important part, and the important part had nothing to do with the actual management.
Yeah. So when you
But it should.
When you cut in at that point, I was saying, no, but then no, yeah, definitely it should.
So I'm carrying out interview 101. Do not do this. There's one of them where I have you guys talking for 5 minutes and I haven't actually introduced you guys properly. So I told people who you are, and you are on the left, Garden Swebe, and you're on the right, Jeremy Wizzy Henry.
It's a nickname that I've been having for a while since high school. Keep it.
I call it that because that's what you have in your
Yeah,
Twitter
it's my Twitter name.
That's how I remember people like what. I'm the weird person who remembers either you.
No, that guy came up to today and said, "Are you Randy at RT Row?"
And I said, no.
Oh, big up Samuel. Samuel, you know yourself.
Big up Samuel. But my 3 points.
Not my Virgin Samuel, next Samuel.
Yeah. Well, you should big up your Virgin Samuel.
No, but I'm going to take it like it's him.
Okay. keep it in check. I understand that. But yeah, the point is I should introduce people properly. So, Gordon, you are CEO of Edifocal.com. What's Edifocal? Tell people what you do.
Edifocal is an online learning service for currently PEP and CSEC students. We've diversified a bit recently, so we now do B2B, a lot of B2B stuff.
What's B2B?
So business to business. So we have a lot of corporate clients. So we develop learning content for companies, but we also develop learning content for schools, basically for exams. So we've been in that space for next month, March 15th, 8 years.
8 years?
8 years, yeah.
Congrats.
Started it when I was 21.
Wow. And how old are you now?
I'm 30 this year.
Wow. So you started when you were 21. You've been doing it for 8 years and you're 30 this year.
Yeah.
All right, what is the missing piece?
Oh, what do you mean?
That's a pet question.
I have no idea. I suck at exams, actually.
I think somebody just added in a while ago and go, oh, mommy. But no, you didn't actually say anything wrong. I'm messing with you. But so you sound you sound so practiced. Sorry, honestly. How many times have you given that? How many times have you practiced saying that?
Oh, hundreds of times all over the
I
place.
figure it sounded so practiced. You sounded media trained.
Yeah. I've done it all.
When you're doing something like that, not everybody does.
Yeah.
It's not very easy. I own a gas station. I run a car sales place.
But funny enough, this is my first time. This is my first time using the modified version to my intro, which is we do B2B corporate learning stuff too. So I'm actually redoing our business plan now, and I'm tweaking that company profile that I've had for years that basically said the same thing. Online learning service. We use gamification to make learning fun. I've been saying that for years. So now we're using gamification and other things to make learning fun, not only for students but for organizations.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Corporate culture.
Yeah, but there's a big shift happening right now. Big shift happening, and we're benefiting from it.
And there's a lot more. When you just said the B2B, we usually talk about this later down in the conversation. But the finance space, we need a lot of AML training, KYC, poker.
Funny enough, I just had a meeting about that today, but say no more.
All right, and what's coming now to hit Jamaica is the Data Protection Act.
Yep,
But then
and
we
there's a
need a whole the training.
huge
So
opportunity. Right? So I'm happy. You see you see it clear. I mean, and I've seen it clear for a while. It took a lot of people a while to see it, i.e. people weren't writing the checks. But they're writing the checks now, they're seeing it, so that's good. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, but poker is a huge opportunity. It's a boring exercise that every single person in the organization,
at least once a
from
year.
the CEO right down to the person,
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Even boards in poker trading. I know
Absolutely,
that. It's a separate poker trading that is given to boards. But
Yes. So can you imagine if you could be on your device going through that in a very captivating and fun way, and you're doing it at your own pace, and you're being measured and you're earning points? You could possibly get a day off from work because you scoring it. It's fun, right? Really, our slogan is making learning fun, and that's what we want to do. That's what we do.
Okay, so do you guys consult on reward systems for these kinds of trainings?
No.
Is it the curriculum? You say I do the curriculum, and I say based on the kind of company that you have, these would be the things that would work, for these are the rewards that would work for the kind
That's a
of
good
employees.
idea. That's a good idea. We haven't gotten into it, but thank you for that idea, Jermaine. We can definitely, I'll write that down actually.
There we go. That's what I like. Look at that, business helping business. Why he does that, Jermaine? Tell me about you and your business.
Okay, my name is Jermaine Henry. As I said, CEO of Flow Factor. We are an online factoring company for US importers. So what we do is we have an online platform through which US importers can access capital to pay their suppliers. And that's what we do. In a nutshell, I don't know why Randy finds this so funny.
Sorry, I'm laughing because before we started recording, Danai said something to you. And I had said that when Gordon had spoken to you, this happened because of the tweet, and I'll link the tweet in the show notes. That's why both of you are here together, because you both did the thing. I like that you stuck together there. But when you're here, I said that, I deliberately didn't look up what you do. I didn't research you. Because I know Gordon's story pretty well, and I didn't know. But Danai, you're saying you know what he does, and then Danai said something to you that I never got at the time, but know that I listened to what you just said you did, and you said it's I'll say it again one more time. So it's an online factoring, which is great because a bunch of people, no one knows what that means, and the only reason I know what that means is the same reason why I'm laughing, because I remember Danai's joke. No, you're very funny, Danai. So if you. Tell people what factoring is right off the bat. Yeah. Online flow factoring company. Nobody knows what factoring is.
Yeah, so for the people who aren't familiar with factoring, factoring is...
everybody.
Yeah. Who are...
It's like mezzanine, bro.
It's mezzanine, bro.
How many people know what mezzanine is? That's it.
Every goddamn shareholder.
But with factoring, companies are able to sell their receivables, invoices, that they have delivered services they aren't getting paid for yet, but they need access to that. So my company basically allows them to submit invoices, and they access a portion of the capital, to do what they need to do. In our case, we specifically do with suppliers when it comes to import in the US. So US company import from Colombia or Jamaica, they submit their invoice that they owe to the person in Jamaica or Colombia. We'll pay the person for them on their behalf, and they pay us back plus 2.75% a month. And we do it, 1 to 60 days. So it's a pretty good return. on capital. You know, it's kind of interesting to learn a lot about trade, and it is a pretty big market.
All right. So
Yeah.
right, there's so many. Go ahead, Daniel.
Off the bat, I heard really good. So he goes there and you mentioned like US, overseas companies paying through you.
Yeah.
I hear factoring a lot. I hear a lot. I know a good amount of people that want to get into it. They've wanted to get into it for the longest, so they have not gotten into it. But they've never mentioned that.
I mean, Sygnus does factor in.
You sound like somebody who
but
is.
Sygnus.
Yeah,
It's not a
what we
not-
just said was a compliment, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
We are proud shareholders. Best believe. Yes, that's why, because you sound like somebody who's actually doing
Exactly.
it. I feel bad because I had like 2 or 3 different things I was going to say, and all of them were jokes. But I'll do the important one first. You know, people that didn't know what factoring was just now still don't know.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, because yeah.
I mean, it's pretty simple.
It's fine. I'll say.
To you.
I'll say. Thank you. This is earnings season where a lot of regular people listen. Don't worry, guys. I got you. I got you. Factoring is you lend people money for the invoice.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all him do. He's a middleman. You get an invoice from somebody. It due 30 days from now. You're like, yo, I'm have to wait 30 days to get my 20 grand. This guy comes in and he'll pay you the 20 grand less 2.75%. And in return, you sign the invoice over to him. And then in 30 days when the invoice is paid, he gets the full money. So he makes 2.75% off you. How do you fund?
How do I fund? So I funded mostly to friends and family, actually. So we haven't raised any. I mean, we're in the process and we've tried. So we tried, and it's a little bit risky, right? It's a little bit of a risk to take. So we started off with friends and family. Started off really.
It's risky because you take on the risk of a business.
Yeah, take on the risk of a business.
Business can fail, and a business that can't handle those payment terms is usually a young business, fresh business, or a fast-moving business, which means that those businesses can usually disappear very quickly.
Yeah, man. I mean, we are obviously have our requirements around how we do it, and also we're using data and alternative, using the regular data, bank information, balances, etc., and a little bit of alternative data to mix in to create a risk model. So our risk model takes into account corporate risk, it takes into account political risk, it takes into account quite a few things. I mean, it'd be very boring to get into right now. It'd be very boring to get into right now, but
it's actually exciting, but I don't know. I don't know if
It's not just us.
yes,
I know.
but you know what too?
I mean,
it is us. There are people out there who want to hear.
Yeah.
And I haven't been in a good job because I know what you do.
Yeah, man.
Meaning I understand. Well, maybe I think I understand factoring, so I can speed people through.
Yeah.
In other words, you're the middleman. You come in, you handle funding for somebody. It's risky because these are the sort of businesses where one big invoice never get paid and the business will go under. So like a wholesale, a thing just mash up. You can't find the people, right? Have you been burned before?
I've actually been burnt by Jamaican companies and never by a US company. It's very
burning
interesting.
is a little harder in the US,
Yeah, obviously. So we have a US company set up, Flow Factor Capital Incorporated, and that's what we use for the legal agreements between us and the US companies.
So they have the credit risk and the credit rating. They're tied back and it's tied back to people.
Yeah, call them on business one.
Yeah. No, that's not.
I know. I'm just saying.
No, man. It's free.
Yeah.
No, it's free and open. Like I always say, if you can do it better than me, then I should be working for you.
That will happen in Jamaica, and it's going to happen in Jamaica eventually. It's going to happen in Jamaica soon.
Yeah, pretty soon. I mean, the credit bureaus here haven't really matured as yet. I mean, everybody, please go check your credit report, please. Yes. There might be so many things on it.
Get somebody from the credit rating. If anybody's listening from the credit rating agency,
actually know somebody
from
from
the
there.
episode, feel free to email me, randy@evermaker.com.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we want to talk about like startups, and the whole conversation started from Twitter about what's the difference between startups and small businesses. You think they're the same? Me and Gordon disagree. I don't know what Danai thinks about this.
Well, say to Danai and I'll look it up.
A different between startup and small business.
Yeah. So I think the whole
that's
Twitter
the context.
So the whole Twitter, we're having a Twitter conversation. I remember, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember that Randy disagreed with Gordon and I that small businesses and startups differ vastly. right? And he was like, "Oh, I do agree. It's the same thing. Like a website development company or marketing agency is the same thing as a startup trying to sell, educational content and training, and that is not true at all. It's so different." And I guess I can jump into it a little bit. And the reason why I think that. So. Yeah.
No, you always say, brother.
Yeah, man. I hold it, man. I going to have this conversation a little bit earlier, actually. So he came by my apartment and we're sitting down and talking about it. More or less, let's rehearse and more about what are the talking points, right? What are the talking points?
So that's why you wanted to go back to it.
Yeah, man. I have to go back to it, man. I have to go back. That's the reason why we're here. I wouldn't have been here without that tweet.
That is true. Well, you probably would have, but maybe not in the same way.
Yeah, not in the same way.
As good as that we're here now.
Yeah, man.
It started with a couple of tweets from Jermaine. He said the job of a startup founder is to get to product market fit before you run out of money. He followed up with, most people won't understand and that's okay. Saying no to a lot of opportunities and focus on learning versus money early on. It's very different from running a small business or an agency. So Randy agreed with everything except that last bit where Jermaine said it's very different from running a small business or an agency. Randy responded with, lost me at the end here.
Yeah.
And then Jermaine followed up with, I can really tell you that it's very different in the beginning at least. And then I jumped in and said, Jermaine, you and I are in agreement and we haven't even spoken about it. It's very different in the beginning, but convergence happens after. In my view, surely after product market fit. And then Randy said, of course, save it for the pod. Look out for a link, and here we are today, having that link.
I love that.
The power of Twitter.
Right?
Yes, I don't know if I'm thinking about this too much. So of course, it be similar at the start, so the divergence happens where for you?
No, man.
No, a startup is a startup.
No, man. The divergence actually begins at the start, and then it probably gets closer as you move forward, right? So, we won't get into like the Silicon Valley technical terms and all that kind of stuff. But I'll just say the definition by most people.
Definition of a startup?
Yeah, definition of a startup is a temporary organization looking for a repeatable and scalable business model. Right? That's how it starts. That's really what it is.
Like
so I don't consider a chicken joint a startup or a restaurant a startup.
Why not?
Because within the context, or at least within the tech context of a startup.
But he didn't have tech in his context. Exactly. And tech didn't invent startups, precede tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not really. Tech in the way you think of it.
I guess it's the context within which, or the space that we operate in, which is really a tech-driven space. So when we hear startup, it's completely different, I guess, than when you hear and then I hear startup, which is, I guess, where we're having the disagreement the difference.
Because when then I hear startup, we don't think fledgling online business.
That's what I think.
You think of some
startup.
You think of something that just started up. Yeah. When we think about startup, we think about
something that just started up.
When we think about startup, so we're talking about something that is.
Look at it this way.
We're talking about something that is usually in the tech space, doing something innovative, going for a large market, going for scale, and the way how you run, fund, and the way how you run and fund that company is very different from how you run and scale a small business, right? The funding mechanism is completely different. How you go about it is completely different, right?
In what way? Tell us how you go about it.
So let's start off in the beginning.
You guys could have heard us talk about Trans-Jamaica instead. Instead you're gonna hear them talk about this.
We'll get to Trans-Jamaica. It's a long episode.
Oh, these guys have plans.
So I would say, most people start off with a problem, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say we started off with a problem. We realized that exporters here were having problems accessing capital to grow the businesses, right? Mm-hmm. One, you might have observed that from one or two persons. What you do from there is you go out and validate this thing, right? You go out and validate these things. You say, okay, well, based on what 12 people are saying, this is a real problem, we'll find a way to solve it. I could go about it and solve it in a normal way, just handing out money and doing the other stuff. But what we're working is say, okay, well, how can I solve it in a way that will become scalable and can take a large portion of the market, right? For
what reason?
Huh?
Why do you want to do that?
So that's the reason for starting a startup. The return on the investment.
So you're solving a problem or you're capitalizing?
Solving a big problem, capitalizing it, and it's about return on investment.
Meaning, what do you call it? What's another word for that? No, hold on. What's another word for that?
For our return on investment, just what you get
No, there's another word for
There's a
it.
nice word. There's a nice
What's your
No, tell me, because I know you know it.
You know the word.
You know it. It means return on investment.
profit?
There.
So why you act like you know about it?
No, man.
Why are you tech guys so against profit?
No, man. I am
profit.
profit positive. That's the word I'll use.
So why you don't like saying
Say
that?
it.
Profit positive.
I'm profit
is
positive.
positive.
No, man. There are a lot of people
No,
who
there's some
believe
guys
it.
who don't like profit. No.
Yeah, no. There's some guys who believe about scale over profit, right? And
Well,
and to be honest, in the space that we're speaking about right now, at first it's more about capturing the market and then profiting after. Having good unit economics
But
obviously
you
makes you
profit after
profitable
profit.
on each individual transaction, each individual sale. But in the end, you're looking to get a big portion of the market, and that's the reason why I say when you think about startup, we think about two different things. Even when it comes to funding. Somebody who's doing...
hold on, I don't want you to go too many.
Yeah, I think when you profit, you know.
No, of course. When you
So,
profit, you're bingo, you're good.
You build a system to do whatever, right? So I walk down the lane and boy, I forgot supermarket far, I forget chicken and it's expensive down there, so right? I walk down the lane and everybody was saying complain. I stole people on that lane and everybody was saying complain. Go for my zinc and build up a place, get some chicken, raise the chicken, kill chicken, and a chicken joint through it. What's the fundamental difference there?
So,
Many differences.
there are many differences. You
What
want to
is
take
it?
a part of this?
Well, I mean, there's many differences when you're comparing and contrasting it to an online company. I mean, I could compare and contrast it to my company, and why I would view my company as a startup and not that
Why?
fledgling chicken joint. One, the startup costs are completely different. Two, it's easier within context for that chicken man to raise money for his joint, whether from friends or family, than it is for a startup to do the same. So for example, my business, to this day, there are people that don't understand what I do. Now, if I was running a corner shop and I'm explaining to someone that, hey, I run a corner shop, I sell Red Stripe, I sell cigarettes, and for each thing I sell, there's a margin on it, and I make my aim is to make a profit. Pretty easy to understand.
Isn't the knowledge of a business more based on the popularity of that type of business, abundance of finance? I can find out a chicken joint, but not one on each lane.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the point that we made, like
But-
I'd say startup searching for a business model, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying
exactly.
Okay,
So you're not following. It's harder. For
you're the one making this industrial.
Yeah, you're making. I mean, so it's not like we. So even for us, it's
So
not
the
like
first chicken
we.
joint was a startup, but not like these ones now.
I mean, there are people who believe that I don't actually run a company because it's not a brick and mortar.
All right, we're not going to get. I don't want to go into
We're going far still,
personal.
Yeah.
You guys did a lot of things. I remember the regular people here, and I'm sure
Yeah,
somebody's asking this question. First thing, right? You say you're building a. You didn't say this, but I say number 9. I wouldn't say it. That's why I say ecosystem. It's not ecosystem. You're building. You want a market of people. And sorry, taking a little bit of the nice point here. And I'm pausing to apologize, guys. If you're hearing a lot of noise earlier, I was the one eating. I'm very hungry. I didn't eat all day. I'm so sorry. Apologies. Yeah,
You should be
at
too,
Subway.
guys.
Big up to Subway.
Yeah, big up Subway.
Endorsement to Subway.
Big up.
Yeah, no, big up Subway. Save lives. Anyway, so you are building a market, you say, all right? You have a product, and you're saying when you're doing a startup, a tech-based product that allows you to get, you think the ideal model is that it gets as big as it can, and then it worries about profit.
And I said the reason, and we'll get into that, but the reason.
No, I want a yes or no to that.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So you
Yes,
see it
yes,
that
yes,
way,
yes.
right? Which I could simplify to say you're trying to get big and then figure out how to make money.
So
Just by virtue of being big. Now, if the answer is no, and the thing that you want to make money from is the thing that you got big from doing, then there's use in what Dana is saying about then just trying to do it profitably from the jump. Because profit is proof of doing it properly. It is so good that somebody will pay me more than it costs me to do it, whatever it is. And if people wonder that, you're not making a profit.
okay. So I mean, there are obviously different philosophies about how you go about it, especially in the tech space. We've seen things like Uber and those kind of stuff, right? and it has changed how a lot of people, do what they do. So the reason why people even use technology is because technology becomes more efficient at scale, right? Because you can do what you do with 10 people and serve the same 10 people and serve 100 customers. But after a while, if you're a service company, you have to continue building up people, right? With technology now, what you can do is you can serve those same 100 people with a piece of technology. It might have taken you a little bit more money to get that technology built, to get everything go up and running. But there is an inflection point at which the technology allows you to profit more than if you had,
so it's if you the scale.
So you are betting on the inflection, like a Lagrange point, like an inflection point.
Yes.
Where once you've passed that, the back end to run this thing has a cost, and at a certain scale, the cost of that hits economies of scale.
Yeah, versus
and profit on the difference.
Big
that point early.
Yeah. So that's the interesting thing, and that's the reason why it's risky, and it's always been known as risky. It's just that you map that point early, you look forward, but there are a lot of hoops to jump to get there. There's funding, there's rounds of funding, and as I said, we'll jump into the funding point. Is just like how you fund a startup is fundamentally different from how you fund a small business.
Okay. So that was a good second point. You can go into that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can.
Yeah, man. Gordon has.
So when we started EduFocal, we got $5 million in debt from a local bank. I won't do any endorsements here. We had
Just big up a bank.
Well, we big up NCB.
You can big up
NCB, seeing as I'm affiliated with NCB. So big up NCB. But yeah, so we got a $5 million loan from NCB with
Are you on an NCB board?
I'm on the NCB Foundation board, yes.
And you're under
big up the
charity?
NCB Foundation board.
Come on.
Yeah, I've been on that for a couple of years. That's been decent. Love my NCB family. So, but back to my point.
You have to be prompted.
Yeah, so we got a $5 million loan to start EduFocal, and we had a 3-month moratorium, which was great. But in my eyes, in my 21-year-old eyes, 3 months was adequate for us to not have to pay. So obviously, we would have been paying the interest on the loan every month, but we weren't paying the principal, right? So it wasn't. So after the moratorium, it was principal plus interest. Should I get into? I guess depending on the target audience for this, should I break it down in terms of what is a moratorium and?
Sure.
Okay. Do you understand what a moratorium is?
Yes, so I will get into that.
What is it?
It's basically a break from paying the principal on your.
So they give you a 3 months break.
They give us a 3 months break.
There we go. People like you listen to the podcast.
There you go. Thank you, Randy. I'm flattered. Anyway, so we got that 3 months. I thought that would have been adequate, but it has taken years. It has taken years and
8 years.
8 years. 8 years, right? And debt financing was not. It was not what we needed at the time. It didn't make any sense. Versus, say, going back to the chicken joint, that chicken joint getting $5 million, great for them. They can stock up. They know probably over a month what their foot traffic is like in terms of their store. So a man knows he needs to buy an additional fryer in I'm chicken joint, and that will help him to get his chicken sales through the door faster. That wasn't the case for me. And I mean, there are so many barriers to entry. I mean, access to the internet, ability to pay. Right? Many Jamaicans, especially at that point in time, did not have access to credit cards, and we still don't. So,
but the chicken joint had its own barriers then.
Yeah, but not the same. And he or she is not the only one. But a lot of businesses have a lot in common, especially in a certain environment, right?
So you're saying that the startup is tech.
Yeah.
Is exempt from having to make profit for a good while, or should be, as a result of the fact that you needed access to the internet before you could waste money. Look
at it this way: if a bank if that chicken joint can't pay his or her $5 million loan, right? Then the bank can sell the assets of that chicken joint, can sell inventory, he can sell the fryer.
Really went through.
There you go. Sweet River is going through that right now, right? So very timely.
Today's the day that they delisted. Sweet River.
Yeah, if I couldn't pay my debt, then the bank would take away the collateral that is not related to the business that was used for that loan.
But a moment of silence.
Right? No. For us, our asset is our IP, and there is no structure in Jamaica for IP. We've spoken about it, but nothing. So my balance sheet really The biggest thing on my balance sheet is my content, and the bank doesn't want my content. They're not going to do anything with my content. They
I
don't.
think that's changing now, though. So
Yeah,
you're
but-
pinning your uniqueness on the fact that most other people don't recognize your asset.
Yeah,
Right? So
that's a big thing. Yeah.
Your asset would be your network.
So Sizzler can't use his catalog to get a loan right
It
now.
doesn't stop being a business.
Yeah,
No, you don't need catalog. Your money don't like.
Big up Sizzler.
So I mean, I'll also talk a little bit about funding and understanding. So like I said, there is an inflection point that we spoke about, right? That inflection point. Up until that inflection point, most times you'll be unprofitable for a time, right?
But hold on, I want you guys to understand what you're saying to the people I'm talking. That's what I want to say. You guys aren't really that different. You just use different words, right? I don't look at business people in Spain and go, not Spain. I don't look at business people in Italy and go, oh, they're speaking a different language, so they don't understand finance. It's the same finance, just it's different words. I'm saying to you that you have a business and you call it a startup.
Yeah.
And you call it a startup as an excuse to waste money for 10 years.
Yeah, the fact that they're paying the point to profit as the
Inflection point.
yeah, and then you're making it the center of this is a startup versus everybody's a point to profit. Yours is different.
Yeah, I mean there are
So
various things, right? And
so why does it
it breaks
become
down
different
to a lot of the stuff that are like things like something called product market fit, right? Through which you have gone through the validation, you've gotten to a point where you have a certain level of growth. You have a certain level of growth in the company that makes it a lot easier to, one, capture the market. You've built something that people want, and you are able to pull in a larger rounds of funding that allow you to
Guy did the
grow.
Dragon Ball Z, pull it when he said it a while ago.
No. Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Pull it with what?
But no, I mean, this is showing you how how drastic, how drastic it can get. But I say when it comes to funding, even with small businesses usually go for private equity funding, right? A PE investor is looking for 2 to 4x their money in 3 years, right? While a VC investor, and this is the VC investing in a startup, is looking for 10x in 10 years, right? And that should definitely say something about the difference in a small business. It does not.
The VC guy. No, hold on. What was the first one he said?
The private equity going into a
PE
small
guy wants 4x in 4 years. And the one name?
The venture capital guy,
VC guy
wants
10x
about 10
in
to 12, 10 to 12.
So in year 4, if they're at 4x in 4 years, but he was a VC guy that invested, has he now become...
No, but the VC guy is not going to invest at that stage.
Yeah, but you don't know. No, I'm saying, suppose I invested now, right? In year 4, you're at 4x.
Then you're not a VC.
No,
investor.
I came in as a VC. But your company results in year 4 was 4x, which is fine
that's
because
great.
that seems to be on scale to go 10x in 10 years, right? But in year 4, when it's 4x, am I a VC or am I a video? Am I a VC investor? Or am I a
No, but they're distinctly
PE
different is
investor?
what I'm saying.
I'm asking you about results because you're pinning what you're calling the thing to the results versus to the person's expectations. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're saying, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that VC... Sorry, by the way, that's the thing I said earlier. You can interrupt us. You
Oh, okay, yeah, man. I know,
I just meant don't cross talk over each other.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, man. I just like to listen to
hard for him
points.
to edit.
Oh, no, man. I like to listen to points.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But interrupt me.
Yeah, man.
I saying if the VC guy you're saying you're expecting 10 years.
Yeah.
Years?
So 10 years. And also, I mean, VCs are looking to getting their return on an exit. And not through any profit share or anything like that.
And the PE guy is.
So if I'm a VC, you mean VC funds as their traditional run or a VC, like somebody that's looking for something starting.
Yeah.
So
a venture capital is not only starting; it can be at any point. It can be a venture capitalist can come in at any point.
That's true. It's just called investment.
You understand? What
Yeah.
You get what I was saying, right?
Yeah.
I come in at any point because I get a return is out this.
So you're just investing.
You're not investing.
You are investing. It's your criteria. Your criteria and expectations
They just
are
told
what
you
change.
guys that you were doing something exceedingly special and you bought it.
That
I'm
is
not saying that you're not doing something extremely special, I'm just saying that. Please don't cut yourself.
no, man. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, business special, sure, but making it a startup versus a small business.
Because all the terms link back to
To-
just
oh,
regular
it's a
I
It's
mean,
just-
ultimately, business is business, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
But,
Exactly.
but there's a reason that people treat different things differently. Like,
Oh yeah, definitely. So I can feel.
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
so
it's-
it's not one big space and everybody does the same thing, right?
so
There,
I invest
but
in
it
10.
is.
So I'm going to be.
But it is.
I looking around. I don't call myself anything.
Yeah.
I invest in 10 companies. One gives me 10x. One gives me 2x, and the rest fail.
Yeah.
Why do that? Like, you ask me, boy, said Daniel, that was kind of stupid still. You lost a lot of money there if they make it like in that only one coin. It's always better if everything you invest in grows. I'm a VC stills. VCs invest for 10x and we expect most of our investments to fail.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really that really is. I mean,
No, but you cannot.
But you hear-
no, I know how.
Different
Listen to me.
angles.
I know how crazy it sounds.
No, it doesn't sound crazy.
It's crazy.
It's
It's just, I mean,
it's like look at those guys
based on
calling
what?
themselves something else doing the very same thing.
Thing.
I'm not a Negro, I'm Negro.
I'm sure that part will come out.
Yeah, it's just. I'm saying the reason I did, and this I'm bringing it back to the
Yeah,
team.
man.
My disagreement with you at the end was that you seem to think that pushing the profit timeline out 10 years justifies being around and calling yourself something special. But I'm
And
telling
saying,
you that
we're so different. But you realize,
there's many.
There are many similarities and there are also many differences.
I've yet to hear one difference.
Difference.
The only difference I heard is that please allow us to fail for a lot longer. Please be amazed by how many people are coming to us. It's like if I have an unprofitable supermarket, but I built it across Boulevard. Look how many cars drive through. Yeah, are you making some money for me? No, but I'm a highway up. You have to come with the thing that's tangible, and you have to. It's okay to say we are putting our profit timeline
further.
Exactly.
We're a small business.
Yeah.
We're both businesses.
Yeah.
We just have different timelines.
Yeah, my business model just requires
I'm
this
not
kind
over
of
There
that.
are
That's
So
all.
different based
Yeah,
on whatever.
And I said
hold
there's
on, I
still a
want to
lot of
interrupt you on
differences.
this one.
Yeah,
I
man.
want to interrupt you on this one, and I want you to come back to a different
Yeah, man,
one.
no
But
problem.
I think it's important to be said because I can tell you this from my small brush with private equity.
Yeah,
investing.
man.
And I think especially in Jamaica's tech sector,
Yeah.
a lot of the entrepreneurs would do really well if they picked up on this very, very quickly. The numbers make a difference. Big up Kimala. Kimala, you'll hear.
Oh yeah, take on art. Those
She's
same
spoken
problems.
about, I don't know, I wish I could, if I can find one, I'll link an interview of her where she's talking about it. But she says how she's in a creative field and she realized if she wants to be big in business and get where she's in a creative field where they don't even think about making profit. They just made it for the beauty of it, right? And she says she wants to be serious in this thing. She wants her business to be serious. She have to know the numbers. She have to understand the business. And so she started to seek out people who understood business. And so she spent time on it, blah, blah, blah. That's her story. I let her tell it. But in that same vein, I want other local tech people to hear it. Don't matter how nice it is. Oh, I could build an app and it put your driver's license on your cell phone and it immediately link back to the TRN database. And bro, will it help me to not have to pay this ticket or deal with this officer that's trying to tell me left or right?
I mean,
if it don't help, hold on. And if it will help me, yes, it will. Cool. And I'll charge you $500 for it. I'm good at not paying that. If you can, and that's product market fit, right?
Yeah, man, that's
But
value.
If you can't find that, and that number needs to be a number that will allow you to be able to pay for everything and carry home some money, aka return on investment, aka
profit.
yeah, the uncomfortable world at the end of the day matters. You have to show me. I'm saying that if you guys grab on to a regular business and think of yourself as a small business that has been given the greatest gift of society now, where we've decided to give you the participation medal for 10 years with the hope that in year 11 you're going to be fire. And we're going to trust it to you and say, oh, but Jeff Bezos did it. Then you need to take that, but act like a small business so you can get there quicker. And you know how it works? Whenever you start having to act like a small business, it immediately propels you. Jeff Bezos, who I just mentioned. Jeff Bezos is one of the people in the tech community constantly referenced as how he made years, decades of losses with Amazon. And then, boom, he had a plan, he said he had a plan, and now they're really, really profitable. Those people don't really follow Amazon for a long time, yeah? Bezos has always acted like a businessman. He speaks about his business in the terms of business, not as tech.
And
as
him turn on the
business.
profit button when you need it to.
And he
That
said,
moment, he needed that.
and he said,
more profitable.
And he's 100% right. Dan is 100% right. But I want to get this out. He said, when he's telling you, you're like, oh, Bezos delivered no profits. Bezos always spoke to shareholders. All the records are there. You can go back and see the US market is full of them. All the records are there. He speaks to them in the language of business. And he has always said, in the language of business, we are building something. I am trying to get this big, at which point our economies of scale and our general usefulness will make us indispensable to the American people. And at that point, we will be able to deliver the value that shareholders have trusted us for. And he has been able to show his steps along the way. You hear him saying, I'm paraphrasing, you never said exactly that. But you hear him saying steps along the way. And because he said his steps along the way, all along the way he was able to show. Guys, remember I said that we need to be insidious in America? We are, no, they're like, Amazon is only 13% of the retail sold in the US. You know what Jeff Bezos is saying? Guys, we are 13% of the, 13% of the US is all the black people in America. That's 13% of
So
the
in
US.
listening to you around there,
No, I don't finish the point. I want you to hold the point. He spoke like a businessman, even though nowadays it would not be weird to hear that Amazon considered a tech company, right? The video streaming services is all online, blah, blah, blah. Truly a tech company, but he speaks about it as a businessman. He's always referenced, if you read the stuff about him, you read his stuff, he's referenced as an MBA. He's a true MBA. His most successful product, in my opinion, other than Amazon, is a Kindle, right? And as somebody who's a Kindle lover, I can tell you that that is an amazing product. Yeah, man. I am loyal to it, right? That's the kind of thing that he gets. No, what's my point? To tell you all of this. Yeah, yes. I am big on this. Here's the point I'm trying to get across. The amount of benefit I think would hit the local tech sector, especially the younger guys coming up, is immense if they would simply understand that don't matter what you hear the Americans say, they're in a different market. And the truth is, everything they say can be brought back in terms of business. And if you speak, especially now, in this Jamaica where things are very vibrant economically and financially, if you speak the language of business, it might not sound very good, because now I don't have to say we're waiting for the 10-year inflection point, because your accountant is saying you're going to make loss after loss after loss for a decade. And you're like, a decade of losses versus 10 years to the inflection. 10 years sound better, right? But if you can speak the language of business, so instead of saying 10-year inflection, you say, listen, we have a scale to market plan. We have a specific set of things, and you put your milestones there, and you make it clear that profit isn't necessarily going to be one of your milestones. It's just how it works. I think you benefit immensely from that, because when you don't speak like that, and you speak in the tech language, which you think people in finance don't know, but it's just so plain to people in finance, because we hear inflection point. What I mean, that's when you start making money.
No, but I mean, it's not like at the end of this, it's not like we don't understand or don't know business fundamentals.
But we don't know that you do, because we hear inflection.
I know, but I mean, it's just.
And trust me, I bet all the people.
Yeah, you know, man. I mean, if I'm running a company that does what I do, of course I have to understand business fundamentals. I have to understand margins.
Because of everybody business exists.
Yeah. What I'm saying, I do.
It's not only because of you, what you do.
Yeah.
Anybody in business should understand.
Yeah. But I'm just give it a little bit of validation. What I'm saying, I do agree with you completely. There are a lot of persons who are in the tech sector who are like, I'm going to build this app and become a millionaire. And there's no business model. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand business fundamentals at all. But there are serious business people who run companies that are tech and tech enabled that understand that. Agree. That understand that you can operate it like a small business.
You should.
You can operate, or you should operate like you should operate like
successful ones.
Operate like a small business where money is important, value is important, value delivery is important, but you're also going for the funding mechanisms, the scale and key performance indicators of a startup. So run it like a small business and go.
That's startup. What's a startup? What's the key performance indicators of a startup? That's different.
So meanwhile, let's say for a small business, what you're looking for, as I said, is profits, right?
No.
Yeah, all right. Well, but yes, profit would be a key performance indicator, right?
No.
Profit is not a key performance indicator for a small business?
Not necessarily.
Okay. All right, you're going for.
It depends on what the business is there.
All right, so so we're going for things like that, and this is where I say it becomes a little bit more complicated for a normal person to understand, because you're looking for. let's cut out that word.
Something like that.
Let's cut it. Let's cut it.
No, not cutting it.
Let's cut that part out.
No, man, I get what you're saying. Go.
Yeah. But yeah. So you're looking for things like churn, right?
Which is
churn is how many people are not returning.
How long the customer stay on the service.
How long the customer stay on the service. Customer lifetime value. So you have to be measuring these things and say, okay.
How long I stay on the
How long you buy
website?
a sink of water before you switch over to iCool?
For you to find a parallel.
Yeah. So you need time to be looking at let's say over the course of 2 years, I've had 100 customers. Out of those, 60 have become repeat customers. Out of those 60,
customer retention rate.
Yeah, customer retention. Yeah, is 60%.
There's a term for it.
Yeah. I know the term, Randy.
So why are you making up a new one?
No, I'm talking customer lifetime value. So I'm going into those 60.
Okay.
So over that time. The normal customer stays on for 8 months. They stay on for out of those 2 years, stay on for 8 months. What is the value of that customer over those 8 months, right? How much are they processing? You're looking at the average of that. So you're looking at these KPIs, looking at usage, looking at all these different things and saying, okay, revenue, growth, customer lifetime value, putting all those things together, looking at it and say, okay, how do I have enough data? Or I have enough data now, I have the key points now to go into growing it aggressively by pushing money into the engine. Or putting money into that engine.
Okay, you do listen to the podcast. You listen to the episode.
Yeah, man, listen to the episode.
Dana and I went to Fontana.
Yeah.
You remember I said something about the swinging gates at Fontana?
Yeah.
I hope that they have a counter in it. Yeah. You think Fontana are paying attention to how long their customers are in the store, how long they spend in the store, how many times they come back to the store, whether or not they're repeat customers by buying the Fontana card, what they do when they're in there, where the sections that they go to? Is Fontana a startup?
Fontana is not a startup.
But Fontana has taken a big hit, and they have taken a big hit with the understanding that we're taking this hit because we're looking 2 years or so
3 years ahead
to hit the inflection
point.
Why you guys just use the regular language?
I do think you probably are biased due to the interactions that you've had with a lot of persons who are delusional.
Wow,
about...
no, I never said a delusional. I said a delusional. But a general finding.
No, man. You think so? I think delusional is the right word because they don't know how to run businesses, and then they're just using tech as something to cover their eyes and say, yeah, man, don't worry about it. It's a tech company.
Yeah, a lot of people use it as a crutch. No joke. I mean, you make valid points right there about people using that veil of, we're in tech, so it may take us 20 years. I mean, that's fine. But what it goes back to? It goes back to the fundamentals of business, right?
Yes.
Sales, marketing, development, all of these terms.
My pocket, puts in your pocket.
All of these terms and concepts that have existed for years, right? But people build on concepts, right?
There we go. Agreed.
People build on concepts. And at the end of the day, there's nuance. Nuance is a thing, right? Yes. You can't pretend nuance doesn't exist.
Agreed.
And for specific sectors, nuance is a very important thing.
Yes.
So generally speaking, in the tech space, margins are better. Margins are much better than they are in traditional sectors. If you're a manufacturing company, certainly you're not going to have the margins of a tech company, right?
Very few. What shout out to last M and them gentlemen at Wisynco.
Right? So again,
Saleh for saying that too. You said that publicly.
Yeah, so nuance is a thing, and I think as the point I was going to make earlier is that we're all saying the same thing. I'm just saying that you can't discount the nuance because the nuance is important because it guides how you approach a particular space, a particular sector. And certain sectors have certain characteristics.
And we are
and tech just happens to be one of those sectors.
No, and we're agreed in that. We're agreed in that 100%. So I bias again to how I see tech, right? Tech to me. So I don't say startup. Because to me a startup is any business that starts. But I do say tech.
A tech startup.
And Gordon Shire, when he says, it's a tech startup.
Yeah, nuance.
So it's
nuance.
It's so perfect because when you put tech in front of it, it then says to me, this is a business that requires a certain amount of customer flow. Will have certain sort of costs. So I'll expect to see heavy marketing costs,
software development
costs. I expect about 5 to 10 years of losses in order to get to the point where I'm going to start seeing a very sudden churn to profit or the option of doing it, right? And that to me is what I think about tech and a couple other things. You know, so they market in a certain way. They don't have certain kind of overheads to worry about. And like God said, the margins.
The margins.
Nice tech, right?
And Randy, I wanted to make the point to that. You look at tracking, for example, with a Fontana. Fontana will never be able to track its customers the way I can. Right?
No, exactly.
They'll never be able. I know if you're a male or a female. I know your literally, if you're going to interact with my service any at all, I get all of this information on you. I can immediately retarget you. So wherever you are on the web, you're seeing ads about EduFocal. In Fontana, the way that they capture my information is, hey, do you want a Fontana membership card, customer card? Because
but
you
they capture other things about
No, I'm sure, right? But it's a lot of it is almost like billboards. You can only speculate how many people are looking, I guess, unless you use Blue Dots technology.
Big up Lauren.
Lauren. But generally speaking, it's kind of hard to track how many eyeballs your billboard is getting versus your pay-per-click ad online, right? So, again, going back to this whole thing about nuance, there's a reason the tech space has huge margins, but you don't see ROI generally speaking, within the first 2 to 3 years. It's kind of like, for my business, it took us years to start seeing profit, right?
So
I think I think all of us have gotten out our points, and we see, the difference.
I like drilling to the end, so we can truly see. So
you truly see as well when you make that.
The good, bad, or the ugly. So at the end, I had said that at the end of it, the thing that I just didn't, that you lost me was where you say it's very different from running a small business.
Yeah, it's very different. So the issue wasn't that you're classifying as whatever.
Yeah.
We understand that there is a point to classifying because these things fall in a certain.
There are
indicators, whatever.
I mean,
these are variables and they equal that for whatever, right?
In the end, it's a business. No, in the end, it's a business. It's a business, but how you run it is just going to be very different, especially in the early days.
Every single business is like that. Every single business has
every single business when they have the inflection point. If you have similar inflection points, then we're going to run it in a similar manner.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question though. Just within the context of Jamaica and the Caribbean, which other sector has the characteristics of the tech sector in terms of IP heavy? I'd put the creative space in that space, right?
Outside of, you just grab them.
So before you even jump at it, so which
other?
other?
I don't have to jump at it. The fact that you know that it's that.
No, but it falls within that. I'm not even using the word tech. I'm using intellectual property. Which other space or industry in Jamaica has the characteristics of the IP industry?
Some manufacturing industries, there are patents on like certain processes,
that's IP.
tools, so on. Yeah, that's IP.
Yeah.
It's
still IP.
Yeah. But we don't have as much manufacturing as we used to, right? But there's still that there. You remember the recently enough the Allegheny Petroleum by PTL Petroleum. Yeah, I think what they did was that they bought the rights to sell it here and in the region, right? Starbucks, ECL, is really the rights. So you're seeing the end part of the business and assuming that's a business, but the first part of the business was them asking Starbucks, can I be the ones to do this here? And it's a piece of paper them signing and get certain intellectual rights and got them.
Yeah, but the Starbucks IP had value elsewhere, and they built out physical infrastructure.
Okay, so you need the value to not exist elsewhere.
No. I'm saying to you that if Starbucks started in Jamaica, one man in Jamaica created that brand, he could not take that IP to the bank
Tell that to Junior Gang
with
his father. One man from Jamaica.
No. But then again, after the fact, like his father's catalog.
Yeah, but I mean, his father helped do something.
So my chicken joint could be really good if I did that, wouldn't it?
Would you go? I guess you can't tell the chicken. You won't go say, okay, here, go to the bank and say this is my chicken joint recipe.
No.
But you can't. You think KFC don't have that as part of?
No. But can that be done in Jamaica with a chicken joint right now? I
accept that there are things that have to be improved.
So the point we're talking. So there is the point of the difference that we can't go to. That's what you say.
The point I'm making is that capital is harder to get if you're not running a traditional business.
So that's why I say it's very different.
There are.
I mean, we spoke about some of the other differences.
There are people that have shops right now. Listen to me and go, them they don't even know. You know what? No, you know what? Nobody's being hyped about hairdressers.
Hairdressers make money.
Everybody says that. So right now there's a hairdresser listening to this, and they're like, you wouldn't even know because that's privilege. Because people want to hear the next tech thing. And anybody going, yo, I want to hear the next Weave Goddess or whatever. Right?
I mean, at the same time, as I said, there are the economies of scale. I hear this, I can only do so many hits per day, right? Meanwhile, Eddie Focal could have 5 million people pay at one, probably at one time, but Eddie Focal could have 5 million people being able to do what they do. Gordon can go to sleep and wake up and get make $10 million.
Okay, and so how much money a MUA make when she does her stream, her paid stream?
Yeah, but
she just does one face, her own.
No, but the MUA has to do the stream.
Okay. So
read the last part of that tweet again.
The last part of the tweet?
Yeah.
very different from
running a small business.
Yes.
Oh Lord, I know
There's so
very
many.
different from running a small
There's so
business.
many
or an
points.
It's just a
agency.
different type of small business. But at the end of the
That's
day,
I'm seeing. You have a different business model.
yeah,
Many people have different business
Yeah, I
models.
mean, so you go
Across
through.
industries have different business models.
Yeah.
everybody that has a business that is small that they want to get big is doing a startup, and everybody that have a business that they have small that they want to get big is a startup, and they have their own nuances to their own industries, and all have their own fight, but one that everybody have.
So
is access to capital.
in the end, what we have to do is differentiate between a startup, a tech startup, and the fundamentals that are the same between a small business and a startup.
And most of them are. And I
there
can tell
are
you this.
the different. There are the
I've always
differences.
thought. If you're running a tech startup in Jamaica and your problem is access to capital, if you can understand and express your business accurately, sensibly, in terms of small businesses, you will get funding quicker than almost anybody else because it's so exciting.
Yeah, but not from just to be clear though, not
Randy,
from traditional sources of financing.
So Randy, that's what I think. I think, as I said, I think you've been biased by the tech people that you know.
I've
right?
seen lots of tech people, more people than I know, and it's not just local.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying I've raised capital.
I don't say no. Lots of tech people
I've raised capital locally and abroad.
Yeah.
Right. I used to do work in venture capital in the US. You know, I have helped invest in companies, understand fund structure, those kind of stuff, right? Vetting
And that's
teams.
different because that is relatively new to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm saying, like, even articulating what you're doing, to the person.
When I talk
explaining.
about you too, because both of you are here to be funded. Gordon here hinting at funding. You can say anything publicly yet?
No, I've only been funded once, small amount.
Yeah, and I've been funded.
We're trying to make it.
When you do that, I'm going to show you the definition of funded. Go on, talk to me.
So what I'm saying is, I have the experience. I've seen, the differences, and I understand exactly where you're coming from. Small business, everything makes sense.
No, everything doesn't always make sense. No, you can start a chain, a supermarket, and decide we're not going to make profit until I'm in every parish town where I have at least 5,000 people living within 2 kilometers. I have to have at least one chain, and at that point, I will raise my prices. Yeah? Super Plus was a startup that just couldn't scale. But you think it's just a supermarket?
No, they didn't have the issue of scale, though, to be honest. But
yeah, they had the issue of scale because they didn't hit the inflection point yet to start making the what?
oh, really, the profit?
There we go.
You sure that was a problem? Anyway, all right. Cool.
I assure you that if Super Plus was making super profits, they would still be around. Who has a super profitable business and go, all right, that's it, guys. That's it.
Hey, man.
You're Warren, that's it. Let's go.
I mean, sometimes owners eat out profits and all kinds
Then
of
it's
things.
not profit.
No, but you can earn the profits and you eat it out after the fact.
You should.
Or you can retain the profits and put it back into the business.
Okay, and
because sometimes the
profit.
business
the money is meant to be spent in a
no, sure, but the money is meant to be spent, but what you spend it on is also important.
No doubt.
Exactly.
And it should be important to you.
Absolutely. So I'm saying that and I'm not. This is not for Super Plus, of course, because I don't know the circumstances. Generally speaking, for any business, some of the profit needs to be retained and reinvested in the business, and some of it needs to be taken and shareholders benefit from the spoils.
They should. They should.
Yeah.
They should.
So, and in your eyes,
dividends.
So in your eyes, a tech startup is a veil that somebody throws over a small business to say, I'm going to take a long time. I'm going to take a long time to make money. Pump a lot of money into this, and it might not work.
As you say, it's nuance, So it's a small business.
Yeah.
It does that too.
Yeah.
So that's your model. of whatever.
Yeah. So
and we shouldn't take that either, because within the tech space there are small companies that are profitable from day one.
no, there are millions small companies that are profitable from
small?
that.
So they're not tech startups anymore, right? They're just tech small companies.
I mean, that's it depends on what they classify themselves as.
What was that?
I said nothing.
No.
What's the last point? Huh?
What they classify themselves
It
as.
depends on how they classify themselves.
They can
So
classify
why-
so
themselves.
what you're saying is you agree with me on that.
Every mickle that
I am going to agree with you right now, Dada. Take it. Take the W.
It's okay,
Take the
it's
W
okay,
for that
it's
point. Take the W for that
It's okay.
point.
Big up coffee. Tell me something. What? No, that you've admitted that we got it right.
So they invited us here just to say, yeah, man, we could box them down.
Exactly.
So I tell you,
You
Them
plan
planning
this.
to rehearse it, you know.
You hear that?
I'm kind of anti. I was going to go for them.
We put our points down, you know. We're
No,
not talking
no.
points.
We just
Everyone
we
talking
just
points.
said-
In sign language, but no, but
Yeah.
But you never practice it all. You can pull in with the profit.
Yeah, man, but no, but I say, I'll give you. I'll give you that point. I said it's nuances. I said, and we say it's very different. When I say it's very different, it's just the phases that we go through. Going through validation, getting to product market fit, the fundraising mechanisms, in the heavy investment into the IP, the end goal of what you're doing all this for, whether it be, I said, an IPO, whether it be an exit, the value being on the economies of scale, and the value being on the IP, and and just how you go through, and intellectual property, and how you go through the processes of starting the company. Working with a potential co-founder, you guys building a potential solution together. Yeah, building a potential solution together, validating, testing. I'm sure a lot of people out there say, "Oh, why do you need to constantly build something for a startup?" And I'm sure that's something, right? You think about. You say, "Okay, well, you can just build it one time and continue selling it." Right? Mm-hmm. That's not how it works. There's constant changes that need to be made.
Oh, bro, you need to spend some time in a small business. They are laughing at you.
So we talk about the corner shop. If you go in a corner shop,
you just go. Yeah, just.
Is it just don't change?
Yes.
As I said, I've been around business people. I know business people.
Yeah.
Gordon's family runs multiple businesses.
My father actually ran a chicken joint, so.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
So you know.
Yeah, so we know and we understand. I'm just saying there are nuances that are there.
They're different.
And we go to that and say there's just there's a big difference in how things are run from day one.
All right, so and I'm trying to tell you as somebody who understands both those worlds. So you made the assumption that I don't understand tech very well. I do, and I understand that space. I'm telling you. The reason I hired you, it wasn't to ambush you.
Yeah,
I just want a good conversation. Two, I want young people who really do it in the tech space in Jamaica to be on. And three, I want the messaging to go out there where people can understand that, your company, your idea might actually be very, very good. And if you just express the idea properly, in business terms, stop thinking that you're that different and Jamaicans don't understand tech.
It's like you going somewhere and saying, I have a platform that way. So you tell them more about the platform than actual that you lend.
So I mean that's I mean
you came here and spoke about that you lend money.
I didn't go there and say, oh, we use risk algorithms and machine learning and that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to bring that point back to that I didn't lead with that is that yes, I agree completely that persons need to be focused on the business side. They need to understand it's not just I have an app. I agree with you that we need to understand value. We need to understand business. You need to understand how to express what you're doing. As I said, I didn't come in here and said
that's not that. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
That's not you're not saying person. You're saying person need to people need to understand in the tech space need to understand how to express value in business terms.
People in the tech space need to know that all they are is in a different arm of business.
Yeah, it's the same business.
I find that a lot of tech people fall in love with the idea.
Yes.
And I learned that very early. I mean, in fact, I remember with the early days of EduFocal, we went to this school. I was very excited because I thought we built something great. And the security guard wouldn't even let us pass the gate. And I'm saying to myself, oh, wow. It's like there was more to actually just building this service. You know, there was more there. You have to build out the relationships. You have to, you know, you have to communicate what the value is outside of your tech, right?
What year was this?
This was 2012.
How old are you?
21.
And you're going to the school to show them?
Yeah, I was
What
physically.
school? What kind of school? Primary?
It was a
high?
prep school. It was a prep school in Kingston.
This big old last year when I come to prep school.
Yes,
in the middle of the day.
In a Mitsubishi Lancer.
It's young you,
The bro is like, no, where you going?
And your phone.
Man, you know, it's a cold, you know, it's about cold calling, it's a cold visit, you know, you're trying
Not
to...
to a school, sir.
Security and protection and all different things.
Yeah, it never worked out. I'll never forget that day.
Like, nah,
Bro. No. We don't care about security guard.
Come on, cool visits.
Like, I remember the day, because the principal was walking past, and the security guard is like, oh, she's not here, the person's not here, you have to leave.
And you see her, yeah. Alright, don't
That's
let him in.
her, right?
Alright, don't you dare let him in, I don't know him.
Luckily, we're far beyond those days now, and the school let us in, so I'm happy about that.
I don't know about that, but I don't think so. That's cool. But
Edit that out.
What I wanted? No, what is wrong with you? It's cool. What I wanted to say to you was that it's not that I need people in the tech space to just express it in terms of business because they do and they need to understand business. Just stop thinking that you're not in the same business field. It's just one business field. Every single business in the world managed to fit in that business field except yours. Except tech. And tech is not new. Everything that we use is technology. Riding horses used to be technology. Alright, so tech is everything. But just computer just managed to not be in the world. We even have charity. We have religion.
You know what piece of tech revolutionized the world? Wheels.
I mean, so take it across section across all. I say across all industries, right?
Yeah.
Transport
Industry
tech.
is tech.
Yeah, the industry technology. There's health tech, insurance
digital
tech,
technology.
just digital technology.
And all I'm saying to you guys that if you want my personal view, and again I could be wrong, but it's just things I've seen. So you might be right. I might have been being biased in that everybody I've seen, or not everybody, but the most I've seen exhibit this kind of thing, where they think that I'm just in this other space in Jamaica, them just don't get it. You're right, you know, a lot of things in Jamaica we just don't get. But if you want to help somebody to get something, a lesson that I've had to learn again and again, I'm still learning. If you want to help somebody to get something, sometimes the best way to do it is to learn their language and then express it to them in their language, not the other way around. So don't, these guys and their money, they don't, everything they do, they don't want profit. Yes, that's how we got it.
I mean, you have to be able to express value. You can't even get customers if you can't express value.
And you know, sometimes if you just tell the very same story, it continues in the very same way. Meaning, if you just say, I expect profit in 10 years. Before that, we are working on customer growth. We believe if we can get to 1.5% of the population, then we can be so ingrained in Jamaican society that we can raise prices by 5%, which will immediately put us at 25% profit because we're so close to, I don't know, the inflection. And if you just say it in those terms, it wins. But instead you work about, no, we have a cross-sectional network of apps that is going to allow everybody to talk to you. And why won't they get a cross-sectional network?
No, but that's that. But I mean, if you are going to, how do you think somebody goes to pitch? I'm sure Gordon have pitched.
I've seen people pitch.
Oh, well,
that's how I know that they don't get it. I've seen other people pitch, and I thought, if you just say this instead of trying to make it sound fancy.
Have you seen a good one?
Not many.
Okay, that's the thing about it.
She's okay, but he didn't. I haven't seen. I guess he has a new pitch. I'm sure.
yeah. I mean,
it's better. I've been around the block for a while, you know.
Yeah, man. So I
don't just come right out and say that.
Yeah. So I do get you. I do get you on that point, and I'm saying there are people who have tech businesses, who have products, who pitch and produce value, show results. And
do they show applicable results? That's the next thing.
Show applicable results.
Because now when you're in business, you know, just because you touch the business language don't mean that you got it right.
Yeah, sure.
I've seen people get it right.
You get it right.
I've seen people say they want 50 million, and the numbers make sense in that they add up, but in terms of the real world product market,
you're thinking
they don't add up, and you don't seem attractive enough, and you don't seem realistic enough. So now that you're in that world, the reason I want more tech people to touch that world is because once you're in that world, you can start getting very good. And the reality is, tech is an amazing business, and locally grown tech, locally applied tech. My personal view is that I believe Jamaica has passed the inflection point where you can make serious money from an online business now as a startup, believe it or not, and very quickly.
Good use of the word. Good use of
Yeah, but because everything is a startup. So that's just how it works. You know, it's a startup. First Rock.
No, First Rock is a startup. Yeah.
There we go. It's just in a totally different way. And I can tell you this, in the sector that they are in terms of real estate, those people should be worried. Because First Rock has done overnight what it would have taken, well, maybe not Stanley Matter, but maybe
Stanley Matter was already running.
Yeah. Stanley Matter was, Well,
but it was still started, but it was already doing.
It was dormant.
No, not the company name.
The assets,
Assets, they've had the assets,
Yeah. So, but that can happen because it doesn't have to predate.
One of the whole hypotheses around somebody doing a tech startup. I mean, First Rock is a good example in real estate. In tech, what you can do, let's say, is financial technology.
So that's something.
No. I'm saying a tech company, a financial technology company. What technology and growth strategies can help you to do within that sector is to grow really fast.
Yes.
To grow really fast.
Yes.
The technology helps. The technology obviously helps. It's still a business.
You're in finance, and guess what? You have a really efficient.
You have a really efficient machine.
That's all there is to it.
You have a really efficient machine.
Fintech. People consider Amazon fintech. It's just a market space that's online. We had market space before because this technology made us able to bring everything together.
To bring it together and make it a little bit bigger.
I can reach that guy in Wisconsin.
I mean, don't not the point about scale, because also once you have achieved scale, you can do almost anything. We see Apple doing that.
Yeah,
Apple can launch a successful streaming service just based off the fact that our devices are in so many hands.
We'll also talk about Amazon.
Even tangible, they took away the earphone port and gave earphone jack and gave us AirPods, and it costs money to making off AirPods. I mean,
it's not a product. It's not a complete industry.
Man. I mean, we can talk about Amazon too. Like, you seem to like Amazon a lot. Amazon has many. Amazon has many businesses actually. Amazon has businesses that we don't know about. Amazon has a fintech company through which they have a fintech company. I don't remember the name right now. Through which they give financing to person who sell on Amazon. So based on the amount of sales you're doing, we'll say, hey,
bank.
Yeah, we'll say, hey, you guys, based on the amount of sales you're doing, we can forward you this amount of cash, and we'll take it out of your sales after a while.
You're doing this.
It's
not different.
Yeah. From a different.
They're just invoicer.
Yeah.
Do you consider them competition?
I do not. So I mean, I've been focusing mainly on international trade, cross-border. There are not a lot of people doing that kind of stuff. And maybe if Amazon is cannibalizing so many people, and I mean, I would love if they would buy me.
Oh, you're looking for an exit. That's why you're not worried about them.
Yeah,
because
I mean,
you know how it goes. They just have to appear.
I mean, I'll tell you really and truly what I would love. My ideal scenario is I run this for 8 to 10 years. I get it to a certain level of scale. Technology is very efficient. I've probably spent $2 million building this business, and NCB looks at me and says, "Boy, it would take me about $12 million to build this because I have to get in consultants, build the tech, create a brand, register this, register that. I can just buy this company here for $8 million, and they're happy." So and that's what a lot of tech startups are looking to do. You're looking to create such an efficient machine and grow it fast that the incumbents are companies who have already existed. They want to acquire these assets.
So now you see it comes back to value. You see how you're thinking that a startup has different things, because our idea is not necessarily to be profitable, but just to be big enough so that we will.
No, but they're not mutually exclusive.
No, and that's true. But I'm saying all you've done is redefined value. Remember when you asked me if a startup, one of the tenets of a small business must be profit, and I said no. It's because that could be it. I could just want to make a chain of supermarkets big enough so that
somebody big enough. Somebody want a buyout. Yeah. Look at me.
Yeah, I could know that these people plan to enter this region in 5 years. So I build this and I want it to grow huge in 3 years. Yeah, and I might even try for IPO in 4 years. Yeah. Because what? It grows huge in 3 years because I go into IPO in year 3. Why? Because I start courting them in year 4 and then buy me out in year 5. Yeah, look at that. Tell me something. Bring it back to the market. Key and Grace. Do you think Key is, in terms of the we call them the sisters who started that company, would you consider them to have been like, okay, it kind of failed in a way? Obviously,
Was it the sisters or the dad though?
I mean, I'm talking about who's there now.
Yeah.
Current proprietors.
If they end up selling
If
everything.
you're talking about what they have,
Well, they are selling.
they have. So
I
it's not
didn't
like
get the
an
updates.
end story because they're out of Keys. Were they startups? Was their dad a startup? And they took an exit, a nice exit.
Yeah, but I guess you could also make the point that they didn't want to exit. They exited because the business was not running at the level that it should be running at.
I don't know that.
I mean, in the end,
the numbers-
to be honest,
The numbers show them going in trouble.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean they didn't want to exit though.
Yeah,
I mean,
and also
I mean,
numbers,
No, but they were looking to raise money and then they pulled that back and then they had the sale. And
well,
the sale
maybe
happened.
somebody courted them and they.
But if
took
you
the
think
buyout.
about it, raising money is an easier option in that way than if I don't have a buyer right now.
Fair enough.
Then
yeah, man. I mean, it's actually a positive outcome for where they were heading.
So then,
even
were
though
they
we
there
are
as
now,
startup? Because again, it wasn't profitable.
Well, Google still considers themselves startup.
I mean, let's not go over to there.
They're doing that. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
What's
tech
Google
startup,
anymore?
and it's been about for the longest.
Alphabet is.
I mean-
what was Google? Which part?
All right, next.
Yeah, we should. Let me tell you, we should probably start jumping to things that are good to your general audience now, so they don't get.
What makes
all the
you
way
think
bored.
that this wasn't good
Good,
to
yeah.
our general audience?
Oh no, I mean that's
You
like.
You know, every guest does that. Every guest comes here and think, "Wow, this was so great," but I think it was just a good conversation with us. You know, the people listening would enjoy.
Yeah, I mean that's
People are enjoying it, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, I really, yeah, they really.
In fact, I'm sure you somebody thought they would enjoy it, and they
Yeah.
thought, "Boy, you're going all over the place. These guys are making sense."
And
But
then
they
not
never
talk about the
started
market.
it at all.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just looking out. I'm looking
When
out
you
for you.
hear the other interviews, have you enjoyed them?
Yeah, actually, I love the
God,
one
what's
to
your
learn.
favorite interview?
I like the one. I like all the ones that Ryan has been on actually. So no.
Ryan's my interview.
Yeah, Ryan's a real interview at this point.
Yeah.
Conversation. Who else?
Yeah. I like Lauren's one actually. That was a
same.
decent
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
decent conversation. Yeah.
Actually, a pretty good conversation.
Yeah, man. That was a decent.
Blue, that's
Spent
the
a lot of time talking about the business itself. And
that
actually,
So Blue that counts as a startup, right?
You tell me.
He defines. You can ask Lauren. Lauren defines it as a startup.
I consider it a startup.
Okay.
But I consider every business that has just started
A startup, and that's different.
but we didn't. Is EduFocal
Yeah,
a startup?
and I'm also saying
We
that
have been
because you
around for
make
8
profit
years.
doesn't make you not a startup.
Neither did I.
I know. I saw that nice face to go a logo.
No, he said something else, man. What was that,
Okay.
Gordon?
No, I was asking. You said you consider every business that has started a startup.
Yeah.
Do you still consider EduFocal a startup?
That's a different conversation about how long. How long do you get to get startup for?
That's,
I don't know. For me,
I would
yeah,
say just
you
start
look at the tail end. I think you're mature now. You get into like your teenage years. You're getting closer to it. And I have this thing this year in Jamaica that we're, in terms of everything, we're 10 years longer. So, for example, you're how old now?
I'm 29.
So what you are doing, a 19-year-old in America wouldn't be a weird story to hear. Jermaine, you're how old?
29.
Also 29. So again, a 19-year-old starting a flow factoring company in the US where he's doing offshore financing is not a weird thing to hear.
Not
right?
at all.
But in Jamaica, the people are doing it are 29, right? I'm 33. Just started a podcast. What? The 23-year-olds in America start a podcast.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, granted, it's media, anybody can do it at any time.
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
would you consider what I do an online business?
Yeah.
Is
Just-
every Mickle? No, I'm not big into online stuff. Would you consider every Mickle.com startup?
Let's not go there.
No, I've gone there. You can say no.
I'm not sure.
You can say you don't consider it a business. You don't think it's a business.
No, but that's not the point. As in, I probably have not spent enough time looking at your model to say whether it is or it isn't. Because you know what I mean? Like the model, the model
defines
counts.
it. You need to see the fancy charts and the talk. And
No,
hear the
that's not what I'm
numbers.
saying.
No, but I mean, a lot of people are like that.
Yeah,
And I
understand.
don't show that.
Yeah, and you don't need to.
I know that.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Money is real.
But it's hard for me. Like, it's hard for me to say whether it's a startup or it's not. I mean,
What do
based
you
on the
think? What do you
conversations.
think?
No, that I've thought about it based on the conversations that we've had in the past that you've been having with me for years, maybe 8-9 years now. Yeah, it's a startup. I remember when you bought the domain name.
Yes.
Yeah.
2012.
Yeah.
2012.
I think you had messaged me and told me when you bought it. Don't you?
Yeah, I was talking
And I was
about
kind
it.
of prompting you to like, all right, cool, do something now,
Try
start
to
it.
take credit, try
Yeah,
to
man.
take
So
credit.
I mean, yeah, your business model.
Obviously, you know, every
No, I'm not taking
is
the credit,
actually
obviously not.
started by Gordon, and I just finish the story.
Yeah. No, but
he's right. We were talking about it at the time, and he's always pushing me because I mean, ideas are easy.
Yeah,
And I
of
have
course,
a lot of
execution
ideas
is
all the time, but it's another thing when you're executing it.
Yeah.
But I said this because I started at the 10-year point,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying that Jamaica kind of have that 10-year gap. I'm interested in seeing what it looks like in business, because I'm wondering if it's like a 5-year gap now, maybe. Because Gordon, you're getting to an exciting point in your business in year 8, right? Germany, you started when?
About year 2.
Year 2, but not now by yet.
And this is the second. This is my second startup.
This is your second
And this
startup.
is my second startup. Yeah.
Or this is year 2 of what? You being an entrepreneur, or year 2 of Flow Factor?
This is year 6 of me being an entrepreneur.
But year 2 of Flow Factor.
But year 2 of Flow Factor.
Oh, what's your business before? Are you
So I mean, I've done a few things. I said I did some work in VC, but before that I was doing some agri-tech. So basically technology around supplier relationship management. Yeah. And so at that point,
but you didn't know those.
yeah. But I mean, it was more
Money
like
supply.
it was more like management of supplier relationships. And the whole thing about that is when I started that, I was that glassy-eyed. You know, we don't need a business
tech
model.
guy.
This is a cool idea kind of guy, not thinking about fundamental business, but then going and working, with a VC fund, understanding what they're looking for, understanding that, you have to be solid on real business, real value, making money. That, I made a very big change. I made a very big shift into what I'm doing now.
And that's why maybe you are able to be in year 2 and business is going.
Business is going.
I'm sure you could use more.
No, definitely. And I'm telling you, it's hard. I mean, small business, all business is hard. All business is hard, right?
It's easy,
at every level it's hard.
At every level it's hard. At every level it's hard. I would say the reason why startups may be a little bit more frustrating is because you have to spend a lot of time validating and you have to spend a lot of time validating, right? You're going out there, you're pitching to a lot of different customers. You're pitching a solution, you have to be making changes, you have to be building technology at the same time to fit the feedback that you continuously get, right? While it may be a little bit easier to just a chicken recipe, you keep on using chicken.
You think so? You want to hear about product market fit? You cook that first rack of chicken eggs, 10 o'clock, no one sell. 11 o'clock, nobody. 11:30, not even an early lunch.
But yeah, the chicken joint next door to you is full of people.
Yeah. I mean, for them, he and go want to eat lunch and he and go back.
Yeah,
right?
Man.
It's just that they practice validation intrinsic in their business model, so they know right off the bat if they're not getting it.
Exactly.
But the truth is, you kind of know right
No,
off
but
the bat if
you
get
can.
it too.
I mean, you can. I mean, there's so many things, right?
Yeah, Gordon said it.
Yeah.
He knows it better than a regular business.
Yeah. So, I mean, doing a tech startup that's running off a hypothesis and you're starting all this validation. I said, I'm not using these terms for fancy. Those
are English terms. Validation.
Yeah. I'm not using. Now every business does validation to a certain point, but validating, continuously building, continuously growing, having a certain expected growth rate,
and then remaining fresh because you want people to stay and those people can't get bored.
Yeah, and then having that user engagement continuously and growing on top of that. It can become frustrating because you have to be changing a lot, you have to be moving around a lot, and you can burn a lot more resources in the initial point just looking for something that makes sense, get into that, and then having to push money into that engine to keep it going. Yeah. As I said, it's not super different from a small business.
Not at all. You just have
at that point.
Because you just tell me say you have a time when you can burn money trying to figure out what the business is supposed to be. But small businesses have that too.
Yeah.
It's a whole heap of.
No chicken go to waste.
By the run fire.
Small shop turn bar. Bar turn small shop.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like somebody going out there and saying, "Well, I'm going to do. Let me give a good example of probably a company that makes sense.
I'm going to tell people about stocks. I'm going to just tell them so I can't answer all of them one time. So I'm going to just write it on a blog.
Yeah. I mean, and
that's going to the classes. There's a tweet with me saying I'm never going to teach again.
And
from
here
7 or 8 years ago.
And here it is.
You have to rise it back up.
Every month.
I mean, y'all don't change your mind now.
No, I am. I can't complain because nobody will tell me to do it. It's me got to do it.
Yeah, that's very true.
But I said that to just try and copy a point to show that, yeah, you're right. I just want you to see that I think, in terms of the point, I think we're beating it to death. They're intrinsically the same, it's just that you guys use different terms. And I personally think that if you guys just stop thinking that you're that different, there'll be a whole lot more well-funded entrepreneurs out there.
I bet we'd have much less of the person coming in and doing that tech thing.
Trying to figure out what.
Yeah. I mean, so what I'll give you for there is just public service announcement for all the tech founders out there. Please go out, validate, and actually learn something about fundamental business concepts.
Yeah, man. I think
that's what will drive you from just a guy with an idea to actually getting somewhere.
Yeah, man. I think every tech startup entrepreneur, before they even jump into their idea, should understand balance sheet, cash flow projections, income statement, even in a basic way, because it kind of gives you an idea of how you talk to financiers, right? Because they're all going to ask you for these things.
And the answer cannot be, we're tech, we don't really do that. No,
that's crazy.
I had a conversation with Zachary Harding from SSL Venture Capital, and Zachary said something that made a lot of sense. Zachary is like, what is your capital preservation strategy? And that is not only about what the business does, but who you are as an entrepreneur. Like, it becomes less risky when I know that you understand business. I know that you understand how to use money. I know that you understand how to, actually read your own financials and move forward. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what people still wonder what that means. Say it again, the term?
Capital preservation strategy.
Capital preservation strategy. What does it mean? Not in the fans, what actually mean?
Okay. Well, I'm talking about for somebody, if an investor is going to put the money in there, how do you not lose the money? How do you keep the money? How do you turn my dollar that I put into you into $2 or $2.25?
What we call that again? You see him trick you. Zachary is smart. Zachary understands business, and he also understands tech. So he just lick them back with a term.
No, but
these guys are not profit. So I can't ask him what's your plan.
But I'm not.
I can't ask him the path to profit. I say, hey, what's your capital preservation strategy? Well, it's the same thing I'm asking him, and I think to his credit, Sir Zachary, I don't know him.
Big up Zachary Harding.
Yeah, man, big up Zachary, by the way.
But if I can go so far as to assume what he meant, I think there's more to it because it also involves you. Yeah.
So
it's important to see something. I said to Gordon sometimes. It's important that your CEO knows that they also need to be okay. He said, "I didn't have your CEO toil 20-hour days, office, or why the boss have the big car because the boss have that stress.
Yeah,
right?
so
the boss needs to be able to go home comfortably because the boss has a level of stress that you don't have to carry, and the boss level of stress improves your job.
Yeah. I mean, I did a little bit of context to the conversation. It was a lot around. Why a lot of tech companies or a lot of tech founders aren't taken serious and cannot get funded because if I give you my money, there's no guarantee that there's no. You might have the best idea. You might have the best idea if you're not able to communicate it, if you're not able to execute, if you're not able to understand fundamental business, my money is going to go down the drain. And that's why it goes back to your point, telling all these persons, all these tech founders, please go and understand fundamental business, understand value, and before you decide that I'm just going to go there with this random idea.
Is that you coming and saying, I have a lending platform? I say you're pitching, and that's why you pitch them. I have a lending platform. But to them say, so I'm doing lending too, I have a lending platform. Oh, so what are you doing? Selling it?
Yeah. It's a difference. You talk to people about. It's a different thing if you talk to people about instead what you actually do. I provide entrepreneurs with the opportunity to get paid earlier because I can manage to stand.
Exactly. I mean, if I go to a customer. If I go to a customer and talk, I'm going to speak to them and say, here's the benefit. The benefit for you is that, you don't have to pay for the goods until 30 to 45 days after, or up to 60 days after you've gotten them.
Or talk to them just the same way.
Let's talk to them. Let's talk to them. I mean, talk in their context, right? But then when I'm going to an investor, I'm going to say, hey, I lend at 2.75% per month. Annualized, it's 33%. And, based on the capital that you put in,
Product
the return,
retention,
the retention, the customer, how I'm growing
What's
it.
the bad debt like?
Huh?
You get asked that a lot? What's the bad
So
debt like?
I am at 3% loss.
When you say 3% loss, what do you mean?
I mean,
3% of
out of all the money that I've dispersed, after all the money I've dispersed, I've lost 3% of it. Yeah.
What's your rate of bad debt? What's the bad debt rate?
So out of I'd say we've done about 42 transactions. We've only had one. We only had one bad transaction, but that one bad transaction really basically equated to about 3% of their total lending value.
3%, and what's the bad debt of a bank regularly? Or what's the bad debt of a lending company?
I mean, I say you can say it can be anywhere between 5 and 8% as acceptable.
You know this for sure?
Yeah. 5 to 8% as acceptable.
Financial's bad debt rate?
I have no idea for Access
You
Financial.
should know that. You see that? Because and that point, not that you're wrong, but that's the point I want to bring to tech entrepreneurs. You see, because in tech, there is so much value placed on the story and on who has done it before. The reason why I should accept a long path to profit is because Amazon did it, because we look on the Amazon story. But if you look at yourself as a small business within the small business realm, you don't realize that you have access to so many more stories that you can find values in that you can link. Because you can look at Access's bad debt rate. Suppose Access's bad debt rate is 18%. I'm assuming here. I'm going to bring it up on my phone, but I'm assuming. Suppose it's 18%. Suddenly you're selling me a business that I am looking at the possibility of losing 18% versus 3%. Suddenly 3% don't look that bad, right?
Yeah, man, but
If you look at a major bank's bad debt rate, no, you're suddenly comparing against that, but you only get that if you're working with business.
Yeah, man. I mean, so yes, I say you have to know your audience, you know who you're speaking to. I mean, I wouldn't go to my customers and tell them that, but if I'm going to an investor, one of the KPIs obviously have to be revenue, customer, growth, loss ratio, right? Those are the things you have to be looking at, right? I said it's a good comparison to at least know the industry standard to see if you're doing better or worse.
And
right?
You know that you are doing much better.
I know that I'm doing better.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And 3% actually does sound low.
Yeah. But as I said, it takes a lot of work. It's stressing.
I can imagine, yeah. And when the money
money out. Managing money out.
Take the stress of multiple companies.
Banks. I'm doing everything in US, so that definitely makes it a little bit harder.
Lag
in terms of transfers and all those different things. But I mean, it's an interesting business. It's been a fun journey. You learn a lot.
Yeah.
I learned a lot more about tech, even though I have a tech background. A co-founder, big up Romario out there.
Romario, say the man full name.
Romario Raffington at Romario Raff. At Romario Raff at Romario Raff on Twitter.
His name is Raffington, and he calls himself Romario Raff on Twitter.
Yeah, Romario Raff.
Raffington or any variation of that.
He's a little bit more humble than that.
That is true. He's actually pretty humble. That's pretty good, yeah. And Raffing, but it's a cool name.
Man. So big up Romario. So that's a very, I call it a very accelerated learning experience.
What learning experience?
Accelerated learning experience.
Okay,
bringing in tech, finance, and business, just overall general business knowledge.
Because I'm in finance, I have to learn that very quickly. Because the finance field don't put up with the foolishness. Yeah, the numbers.
Yeah.
In other businesses, you might be able to lie to yourself a little longer. In finance, it's numbers alone.
Everybody wants to look at it and say, okay, this is what makes sense. Trust me, I was speaking to the CEO of a financial company recently, and we spent about 2 weeks back and forth and emails and calls and just drilling. And trust me, I know that if within the first 2 days, if I never explain things right, he might have done with me. He might just be like, no, it's fine. He wouldn't have the time if he didn't see anything. He didn't see that it was something serious that, if I didn't know what I was talking about, if I was a tech guy come in and say, yeah, man, we have this tech platform and this and that, he would have just been like, okay, so
and
where's
if you think
the
of yourself small business, you start thinking of who you might be more attractive to.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, working in venture capital also taught me that you have to understand, for investors, you have to understand what their investment thesis is around their portfolio. You have to understand what they're looking for and what kind of returns they're looking for. And that's a very big, part of it. And I'd say small businesses also, because not every small business can pitch themselves in a way that they can actually access financing, but look at the investor and look if they fit, if you fit with them and if they fit with you, right? Because I mean, I've met investors and could have done a deal, but they were super. I mean, 90% of their focus was corporate governance.
Okay, and why do you think that is?
Huh?
Why do you think that is?
It's because of the persons that are the partners in the fund, right? Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if you are somebody, I mean, corporate governance is important, but it's not the only thing that is important, right? If you have good corporate governance set up and that's the only value that they can provide to you, then what's the point of taking the money from them? You might as well have just, continue doing what you're doing.
Value is for everybody.
Yeah, man.
Value is defined by everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've never seen anybody talk you under the table before. I am amazed. Become Jermaine for that. Gordon, tell us about
what you don't realize is that I've changed. I don't talk a lot these days.
I'm acknowledging that you've changed because he hasn't been actually speaking that much and you haven't interjected much. And I like interjection, but I want you to talk. This is your time. Run forward.
I mean, I'm echoing a lot of what Jermaine has said.
No, I want to hear about you because it's cool. We've heard what Jermaine said.
No. So I was going to touch on you guys have touched on an interesting point. I was going to make a point earlier about how for me I started on a lot of business fundamentals, but at the same time there's a lot missing. So for example, I started with a board, and I remember having board meetings about 30,000 JM in revenue. I talk to a lot of founders, especially tech entrepreneurs, and they'll say, "Oh, we're not making any money, so it doesn't make any sense we have board meetings." And I'm like, "No, start that habit from now because you'd be surprised." Like I think about my board, for example, like. My chairman is now an investor in my company, and
so you have taken one.
So my chairman is an investor in my company, and the reason that he's an investor is that he can appreciate the journey because he's literally been there since day one. So he can see how much I've grown. I'll never forget sitting at on-court with him one day, and his comment was, "Okay, no, you're running a real business." Right? That was his comment to me. I'm like, big up Peter Levy, chairman of EduFocal, managing director of BCIC. So he that comment was about 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and here we are in 2020, and definitely I'd say that we're running a real business. I mean, no, my sales and marketing director, there's one thing she always says, EduFocal must be a great place to work, and I understand it more and more every day because what is important to us is also staff retention. Talent, I've realized, is always employed, and you get talent by... You're essentially trying to woo them into your business, right? Hey, leave your current place of employment and come and work with us. So I remember when I was processing payroll for 2 people per month. Now I'm processing payroll for 15 people a month, and I realized that it's very annoying to work out the pension because I also have to be but dealing with pensions, because they're coming from places of work that provided pension.
So you have to step yourself.
So exactly, right? So then I was doing the calculations on Excel spreadsheet and so on and so forth, and I'm like, but
where did you get that Excel spreadsheet from?
What do you mean where I get it from?
Where did it come from? The pension sheet.
That's my point. That's what I'm getting to, right? Okay. So we just started getting into pensions, dealing with. So we're actually February will make our second month that we've started paying pensions, right? And I realized, that it wouldn't make any sense to do it manually. So I discovered something called BizPay. Super impressive payroll platform. It does all the calculations for you, and it's made locally by MC Systems. So. Plug.
Everybody getting a free ad.
But big up MC Systems and BizPay. It worked wonders for me. But yeah, like if you feel like you're running a proper business now. Yeah, man. Right, and it's generate your pay slips because pay slips important because staff can't get them loans and them can't do this without them pay slips. So it feels very real and the stakes are much higher. So that's such an interesting thing, and over time you learn that business lingo. You learn why it's important to understand the fundamentals. You can't ignore that cash flow statement. You can't ignore that balance sheet. And the more time you spend staring at it, the better you get at it. If you think that is intimidating from day one, you'll never try and navigate and tackle it. But if you start looking at it over and over, even if your practice is also with public companies, looking at their financials, looking at how they report.
That's one of the things I wanted to mention earlier in Germany. You were talking about Germany.
Understanding IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standard. How all of that stuff is done is very, very important.
We're talking about accrual accounting.
Yeah, so Jeremy and I were, for example, having a conversation about accrual accounting earlier, and I was running questions by him, and we're just, it was valuable, right? So we weren't talking about tech, we're talking about business, because really that's all that it is, business. You write a program, you think it's the best program in the world. If you can't translate that into how it would operate or run as a business, then it's not gonna work.
Yeah, you can have the best chicken recipe in the world.
Exactly.
They have the worst customer service.
The worst marketing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, except for one, but I'm not gonna call any names.
Yeah, please don't destroy. But we expect the frowns. We know what's happening. Just like barbecue.
Yeah.
However, bringing it back to the exact point, you can have all of that and then be in a space where you're just not making it, or you just can't pass the scale because of that one thing, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe you just never wanted to.
Yeah.
There's a world that nobody even talks about, There's some small tech things happening in Jamaica and all over the world. Those people make money.
Yeah. Well, this pay makes money.
Not
makes
talking
money.
Regular people that have small things online.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I have one friend who sells layouts, Instagram layouts.
Wow.
I thought that's so dumb.
Yeah.
But she gets sales. She sells brushes also, meaning like Photoshop
brushes. Yeah.
And so she sells like shovel. I call it the shovel for the gold.
No, but I mean, even outside that, you have Jamaicans who are selling services on Fiverr or wherever else. They're doing transcribing services. They're doing.
I want to get this podcast transcribed. If you transcribe, show me up now.
Yeah, you have a couple people on Jamaicans on Twitter. Jamaicans on Fiverr who are doing transcribing.
There are people who are doing. There are people who are
$5 US a minute.
There are people who build video game textures and sell textures online, right? So there are a million ways. I mean, there are a million different ways.
Gamers who actually make money from gaming.
I worked at PLG one summer, and a guy was there working, and told me saying he just doing this because he likes it. He goes to school abroad, and he's really making a lot of money. What drew me to him, he was doing engineering at the same school I want. He was in the same NASA program that I wanted to apply to. Oh, so wow. So when I'm talking about it, like, he was doing this at PLJ because he's here in Jamaica and he wants to have some pocket money. But he makes his money. He has a game he built out. Some MMO or something like that. Game he built out and he was running online and making money for him.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm so surprised.
There are so many ways.
And as we get more and more tech influence,
we'll
see more and more industries there. Yeah. And I want somebody listening to this years after I've recorded this to know that the fundamentals of business don't change. And if you express whatever your idea is in the concepts of business in terms of value and profit don't have to be money, it's just an increase in value. If you can find what an investor wants or what the market wants in terms of value, you will get paid for it. For the market, you get paid in profit. Or whatever else you want. Maybe it's on everybody's phone or device. Or
my original hustle was actually video games. I remember I owned a video gaming resource website called Advanced Gamers. I started it when I was like 13, 14.
What did they do?
So we provided cheat codes, we provided previews, reviews, screenshots. We had a discussion forum with thousands of members, and how I made money from that, I partnered with this Canadian guy by the name of Shane Shipston, big up Shane. Cheryl and Eddie Focal too. And what I would do is I'd actually write the video game publishers in the States. This is back in the day when you had just dial-up internet. That sound, and I was in Christian and Manchester, right? I'd write the video game publishers, THQ, Activision, all of these big companies, and they'd mail games to me in Jamaica, and that was my way of getting free games. And then we put up Google AdSense, so we had Google AdSense on it, and like I remember literally Google sending the check to me to Jamaica. They'd mail it. They'll mail a check, and then you could actually at some point through Western Union, right? So once you hit $100 in AdSense, then they'd mail it.
Send that check. That is true.
Yeah, man. That was my original hustle, and that was what kind of set me on the path that I was on. So there's a lot of value to be created. You just have to know where to look.
Yeah, I mean, like even my side hustle is digital transformation for small and medium-sized businesses. So people who want to put digital services into the business they already have to make it more efficient, to make it easier. We help with that stuff.
Like
we met a guy who he has Instagram. He has Instagram for his food delivery service, right? So he makes wraps and delivers them, right, on his own. He says his major problem is that.
Shout him out.
Oh, big up Enric. It's Hungry Man JA on Instagram. So Enric makes his wraps. He takes all his orders through WhatsApp, and he's like, "Yo, this is a lot of work because I have to be cooking, I have to be this, I have to, and he had to be back and forth and what's happening today." So he's like, So we said, okay, here's what we'll create a link. You send a link out to your customers. They put in the order. It organizes everything. You make your life easier, and you have all the contacts for everybody who's ever ordered from you, and it makes your life easy, right?
Also allows you to push your network, your advertising.
Yeah, part of it. So it allows data collection and organization, right? We also just figured out how to do e-commerce for a lot of registered business in a very easy way for Jamaican companies. So if you're interested in e-commerce, reach out to me on Twitter or somewhere else.
The federal financial law?
I have not read the federal financial law, but let's say the route that we're going through is fully compliant with local banking regulations. The route we're going through has the compliance down. That's what I'll say.
Trust you.
Yeah, man, I would never go into it if I didn't know. Understand.
No, sometimes you don't know. I mean, there's so much.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Prison are nice. Prison work are nice. Randy can tell you.
Never.
Randy cannot tell you. That's
yeah, man. But I'm saying there's so much. I mean, I said digital services. There's so many ways, so many problems that can get fixed by digital services. So for all the people out there having problems, for the tech people out there who are looking for problems to solve, really just go out and start talking to people. See what kind of problem they have. See how it goes across. Let's see how it goes across. I said Gordon was having a problem, doing pensions, pay slips, all that kind of stuff. Why wasn't there somebody else? I mean, MC System is owned by Jane.
So
MC Systems is owned by Jane.
That's happening for a lot of people. When technology was coming in the US, there were people getting, digital transformation of business. That was happening a lot. Some time ago. It's happening now in Jamaica. You hear a lot of people on the US now. You hear a lot of brick and mortar still.
Yeah.
So you hear a lot of people online. They're doing social media marketing. Social media marketing is now one of the pickup. It's not a pick up and be an entrepreneur. So it's the type of seller it goes. You'll be an entrepreneur, whatever you can approach businesses and do social media marketing. That now in the US is what's happening now with tech in Jamaica. Yeah,
I totally agree. There are a lot of companies, especially the big companies. You can look at Proven, NCB, who are taking it very seriously. And they now see the benefit. They now see the benefit. NCB is hiring all the developers, by the way. Like no company in Jamaica can get good developers anymore because NCB is snatching up all of them to work on multiple different things.
If you're snatching, means something good must be there. Right?
Yeah, I know something good is there, and they're getting paid pretty well. So big up NCB for recognizing the value in software developers and IT and IT professionals. I said a few years ago, IT professionals were severely underpaid in Jamaica, and in the most recent years, they really have stepped up the game around ensuring that persons are fairly compensated for the value that they're providing to these companies.
Yeah, man.
That's NCB, man.
Yeah, that's NCB. I actually have this pet theory that you can track a large part of Jamaica's economic resurgence specifically to NCB being, in my view, placed under the mandate of bringing X profit and what they had to do. I personally believe that they did when they were given that heavy mandate, and you can do the research, you'll see their references to it. When a company have to find profit, it starts changing everything. Earlier when we were talking about Amazon, then I said that Jeff Bezos switched on the profit right when he needed to, and he did. There's a point when he needed to, and he just turned it on, right? You know what he has never been able to do after that? Turn it off. You can't pay me the money and then stop. Yeah, and you can't drop it either. Yeah, NCB right now, we're talking to you how much NCB closed at today. Anybody know?
I needed something.
Wow.
I think.
Beer money people know, Nobody not check the NCB share price? Okay, you don't need it. I mean, if it's down, it's down. If it's up, right? God, I know you know. How much NCB closed at today?
It was 180 something. I haven't checked since it closed in the day.
Okay, yeah. So it actually
was trading
closed the day. What you said?
No, I'm saying throughout the day it was trading in the 180 something band.
Okay. Yeah, so it ended today and
QWI ended at 91 though.
That's
91 cents.
That actually was tracking.
You were tracking that. NCB ended today at
184.55 cents. Yeah.
Wow, down 1.06%.
What did it crash?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you said what you said about QWI Garden?
I'm saying they closed at 91 cents. I know that.
QWI today.
Yeah, man. I got QWI 89. Thanks to you guys mostly.
You got at 89.
What's the name of it again?
Yeah. Huh? Oh no, I was listening. I was actually I was thinking about going into it. Romar was speaking about it, and then you guys were talking about it too. I was like, all right, let me take a deeper look. And I took a deeper look based on your points, and I said, you know what, I should probably get into this.
That's the one to hear. I don't want to hear thanks to us because we're not telling anybody to do anything. For one.
I get that.
We want people to get up and go on their own and actually
learn
something. So it's not just the Randy say. I never want to hear the I say. Trust me.
Yeah.
Nah, man. Yeah, I mean, I had to. I mean, I can't take you. I mean, you guys obviously, based on what you're saying, you're doing well.
We're doing okay, but more importantly, we are not
advisors.
Not licensed.
You're not licensed financial advisors.
Never licensed financial advice.
Yeah.
But we do speak about things that. I mean, it's not like we don't know. Obviously.
Yeah.
Pulse.
Oh yes.
Me nearly mad.
Pulse touched $9. Pulse touched $9.91 today.
Using the Jamaica Stockwatch app, I set alert, I say, yeah, man.
Yeah, everybody ad. Go to Jamaica Stockwatch. Big up Jamaica Stockwatch.
Yeah, so I set alert, for Pulse, so $6.25.
Okay.
And it hit $6 and what? It hit $6.03.
Okay.
And at the day I was not paying attention, and 2 days later it out of my hand.
I sold
it's
my
out of your hand,
Pulse.
so you don't own any Pulse.
I do not own
I
any.
sold my Pulse
Me
at
neither.
a loss.
I saw a thing there. So I saw.
Months ago.
I was seeing thing there. What?
Make you finish your point.
Yeah. So I was.
You have to tell people about my friend them and that. None of my friends rate me when it comes to investing. It took them years to believe some even know what I talk about. And even though them say, okay, I'm kind of know what I talk about, they don't really think I know what I'm going. People who are listening who would love to be my friends and oh God, if you're my friend, I'd listen to you anything you say about investing. I said, no, you wouldn't, because none of my friends listen to me. None of them actually believe me. God, finish what you're saying about Pulse about Garden, you sold it at a lot.
A friend of mine, we were having a conversation.
No, you can say we spoke about it.
So yeah, Randy and I had a conversation about Pulse, and based on the conversation that we had, I made the decision on my own
to go and look at Pulse?
To go and look at Pulse and eventually...
Is that what you really... No, go ahead. You can tell the story. What happened? Because you and I spoke about Pulse. Be honest with the conversation.
So Randy and I had a conversation about Pulse. Based on the conversation, I decided to take a position in the company. It took a very early position when compared to where that...
He means buy some shares.
Yes, I bought some shares in Pulse. And I was very skeptical about where it was going. I was at a loss position and I sold at a loss position only to regret that decision months later. On
how much did you buy it for?
I don't even remember, but I bought it cheap compared to where it's at. No, I mean, let me not even use the word cheap. I bought it
at a lower price.
At a lower price. I bought it at a lower price, and I'm deliberately not using the word cheap.
So Pulse personally hurt my feelings. I had an opportunity to buy Pulse, and it doesn't work out. And boy. The money I would have now. I mean, it's good to know. So a friend of mine at work, he came and said, "Yo, you see Pulse, right?" And say, "Pulse flying," and then himself and said, "It looks so vexed about it."
I mean, it's good to know everybody has those regrets. I'm good to know. It's glad to know everybody has those regrets.
You don't have this regret. You don't have this regret.
It never leaves you, though. It never leaves you. Meaning,
oh yeah, man, it's a lesson. Yeah, that's the best way to see it.
So the next time you see something, you say, you know what, I should probably be a little bit more proactive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
Regret to the worst feeling, so learn from that.
Yeah.
It's always, I mean.
But the gain strain will continue to come.
Yeah, I mean, I have Pulse. You have Pulse, do you? You know what I mean?
No.
No. Wow.
But the gain strain did not miss me. The Pulse's gains miss me. That's
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
as the market grows, there are 80 odd stocks on the market.
I'm not a licensed
financial advisor.
but I'm just very excited about where QWI is going. And again, I've gotten so much value from the conversations that you and Dana have had about QWI and others. Again, you made no recommendation.
This is him working around to trying to get us to talk about a company more.
No, absolutely not.
You should use the opportunity.
Well, I'd love to hear about.
Hear your thoughts.
Hear your thoughts on QWI.
Wonderful gowns. Great gowns.
Yeah. That's it?
I mean, if you listen to the podcast, you hear what we say. How much is QWI worth right now?
It's undervalued based on the
Net asset value.
the net asset value,
One
and
of the things
which
I've found is that you kind of know you're close to the right answer when you're doing this thing, when it feels too simple.
yeah.
How much is QWI worth right now?
Certainly less than it should be worth based on
Hear how
its.
complicated that is? That's how you know you're not near it.
It's
Sounds
worth.
good. That's
I
what
haven't
finance
checked the
sounds
nav.
like.
I have not checked the nav today,
Okay.
but it's probably
$1.26.
it's like $1.26. I can check right now.
Alright. And we know QWI releases its net asset value every week.
Every week on their website.
On their website.
Yeah,
on
from the
website.
last Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yes, so from the Friday before.
Yeah,
I wanted
yeah.
to tell us what it is. And so you don't know what they're valued. You don't know about it today. It might be 126 or whatever.
It's 120 something. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
And how much did it cost?
How much did one
How much it costs
to buy?
right now?
Right now, 91 cents. Today, as of today, 91 cents.
There we go. You see
So
how
this
simple
is-
that is? It
yep.
valued 126. It worth. But you can buy it for how much?
You can buy it for 91 cents.
What's the difference between those two?
I'm not good at math, but that's probably.
No man, don't take show off. I did this show with this guy. Right?
Yeah, I mean here, yeah. Dan I just
Yeah,
calculated it in his
yeah.
head.
Yeah, but it's 91 cents. It is that's close to 40, 38.5%.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's at a 38.5% discount.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say about QWI?
I mean, what else is there? It said it February 7th. The NAV was $1.22. Yes, it's pretty low.
That's different.
Yeah, $1.22. When they listed or close to a little bit after listing, it was $1.34. So that was as at October 15, 2019.
When did they list?
They listed a little before October.
So, you know, it's interesting. When you talk about, when you spoke
No,
about,
man, QWI list. Sorry to cut you, but
Yeah,
when
man,
did QWI list?
I think September. End of September. Last day in September, I
Late
think.
September?
I think it was the first day.
Late
was
September, early October.
Yeah. On the last day, I think.
Yeah.
Last trading day at least.
yeah, so one interesting thing that Gordon said earlier, that is highlighted in QWI annual report, is that we don't speak about the leadership enough and like what expertise the leadership brings to the table. QWI put that front.
And John Jackson brings out a lot to the table.
They put that front and forward in that annual report. They basically brought down all the expertise of the different board members and shareholders to say, this is us and this is what we can do and this is the reason why you should trust us to, you know.
You knew about them from before?
So I didn't know that much about them from before.
Well, they mentioned it in Jamaica Tea.
No, they mentioned who they are, but they kind of went more into
No, I mean
the
the
expertise.
people that you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, man.
Did you know about any of them from before?
Yeah, man. So I knew about them, but I didn't know their deep expertise.
Okay, what were you impressed by?
I was impressed mostly by expertise across the fact that they have expertise across a lot of different fields, right? And they invest mostly they invest in things that they understand, which is smart, of course.
So what have you taken from that for yourself then?
That I should invest in things that I understand, or get to understand things that I'm going to that I want to invest in.
I like the last one better.
Yeah. Both.
So like,
Yeah, definitely.
like with Sygnus, I like Sygnus.
And Sygnus.
Yeah. One, I mean, I spent a decent amount of time in their offices.
Okay.
Yes.
You know them?
Yeah. I've been around.
Next
Yes.
time you're there, tell them I say here.
Yeah, man, for
Say
sure.
when you're leaving. I don't know if they say, just tell them I say here.
I say, hey guys, check out this podcast.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Definitely thank you.
So
I remember when you weren't recommending Cygnus and then you started recommending
Yeah, you remember
Cygnus.
why that was? Yes, you would have known that. That was around well,
Sorry,
say why.
you weren't recommending anything.
Yeah, true. Yeah, people know that. But obviously,
Yes.
you talk to me. We talk and we talk about how I
Yeah.
feel. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
What was I saying? I don't really want to say it. So it's an opportunity for.
I recall you saying that as at listing it was overvalued, but then plans changed. They started to kind of share where they were going and things look good. I mean, that's the layman's explanation of it. And
the layman's explanation is almost always good enough.
Yeah.
Not that plans changed. They stuck to their plan.
I mean, the conversation that Romero Maria had really is that they're a credit company, and for a credit company to turn around, it's not just day one. It takes a while to turn around and see the returns based on the actions that you're taking.
And they were taking on a lot of new debt, which means that if they were taking on new debt, means that they had a lot of deals on the table. And if they have deals on the table, chances are you're going to see return on the deals that you're making.
If you're good at it, and those
if you're good at it, and those guys are very good at it,
and we'll go back to that.
Yeah.
They really know what they're doing.
You can see when they take on money, when they have deals.
Yeah. So exactly. They don't just take on money randomly. So
what I was saying when he's talking about is when they were listings, when they're IPO.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, Then they upsized. They took more money, and they were one of the first people to popularize upsides. And I was like, oh no, because now it's worth less than the initial.
More
blah,
shares,
blah, blah.
same thing. More
Remember what we said earlier that everybody's allowed to change their mind.
No, I didn't change my mind.
You didn't change your mind?
No, invest in. Understand something.
You don't want to fit my timeline.
Yes. Okay. Understand something you invest in. There's no. When I say a company is bad, it's don't mean how him said it bad 2 years ago. When is as Gordon talking about? When did Sygnus IPO?
I don't remember. 2018?
2017,
late 2017.
Oh wow, it's been that long already.
That's when that conversation was. No. At that point, I was like, nah, it don't make no sense.
It don't make any sense for you at the time.
Right.
Yeah, for me.
Looking at it at that point in time.
It didn't make sense.
Yeah, because he may have wanted to see a return in 6 months or 3 months.
Well,
but timelines change. Timelines change.
I saw a drop in the share price coming. That's what I saw.
And it did happen.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So the plans didn't change. My plan remained the same. Keep making more money. And their plan remained the same. Take on as much money as we can, what they call dry powder. Invest it in our projects. Make a return on it and then pay our shareholders. All I did was, I say it all the time, when it comes to investing, I'm a wagonist. I see that you have some rough times coming up. This is not marriage. I'm not here for the good times and bad. I'm just here for the good. Mm-hmm. Yo, you look like you're going to go through a rough patch next year.
And if you can strategically get yourself out before
and all I did was
rough
just not go in. And then when the share price fell all the way to $9,
that's when you decided to go in.
Yeah. Moreover, it didn't fall in. It took some time and it stayed down there, which means that they had time to invest the money. Remember this, for the most part, a company that's listed, they don't make any money from their share price. Yeah, they make money from the business activities they're doing. So during this time, I don't think those guys at Sygnus were sitting around, whoa, the share price is... No, them have work to them.
Of course. And the thing there, if you work... Sitting down and say, boy, the share price, watching it now, make it go up.
The share price is work.
No, they're working, getting the results, that makes sense.
The share price goes up when you put in the work. Right. You start seeing the results.
Exactly. No, I know that during that time, they're doing it and remember they're putting out the results, everything. Once I'm seeing a business that is now deploying more money than it expected to get, which means that its initial projections are probably lower and it's going to make more money than it promised. And I predicted it to go through a rough time and it went through the rough time. And I started buying when I think it was on its face. It started going up. Sygnus is at what today?
25 to 26. 24 to 26 between in that range.
Yeah, Sygnus as at today is SCI GMD is 24.16. Right? $9 and change they're buying at. Got a lot at 10, got at 11. It's no more than 100% where I was buying it at.
And I mean,
my plan never changed and their plan never changed.
It's fine, man.
We'll keep going because there's a lot of things I like to talk about, and I like that you touched on it with Jermaine when you mentioned. It was Danai. First Danai touched it, I want to say that. God, I was saying, you can look on the market for companies. People ask me things all the time. Like if you don't think real estate companies are good or real estate is good. Today I was doing Big Up NCB as doing a thing at their staff function today. And one of the questions I got was, what I say to a friend of mine who is saying, boy, I mean, this stocks thing at all, to me, take my money, I buy a house, I buy some land, I put in a real estate, the stocks thing too iffy, it's too popular right now. It obviously too much bubbling happening, when we're going something stable, real estate. What I say to a friend like that, I said, well, first of all, your friend's wrong. However, there's no one size fits all. Real estate is a business. And the beauty of stocks is that there are real estate companies on the market. So if you want to know what the business of real estate is like, there are loads of companies on the market that can show you. There are loads of examples. So if you want to, we say real estate is a rich man thing, right? A rich woman, a rich person's thing. Look at what the rich people that have these companies are doing.
I think with stocks, I think psychologically a lot of people are affected by it because if somebody enters, buys a stock at say $100,000, $100,000 worth of value and it goes at $1 and it goes down to 50 cents, that's cut in half and they're like, oh my God, I've lost $50,000. But they're looking at it in a very short time frame, short window, which is why the important.
50% of money, man. I said no big deal.
Which is why one of the most important questions.
I'm only getting 50%.
Yeah, which is one of the most important questions is what is your
time frame?
What is your time frame?
What is your
I think that's one of the most important questions you can ever ask. What is your time frame?
What is your goal?
Because if you expect 40%,
sorry to be talking over him, guys, but I have to say it's such a big deal.
Yeah. If you expect 40% appreciation in 1.5 years, then hold your position for that 1.5 years because you should be confident enough based on the fundamentals, based on where the company is going, that you're going to see that 45% appreciation on your stock. So don't worry about that 50% loss in the short term. Right? So people, for example, in QWI should probably hold their position, don't sell.
You're the man.
Right?
Again, how much you have in there? You sound like you're bleeding, brother. How much you have in there?
No. I never entered the position at a loss. I entered at 90 actually.
At 90?
90 cents, yeah.
So today you are...
I'm up one...
fees.
Yeah, if you put in fees,
You have to. You paid them.
Yeah, I put in fees, but
okay.
yeah. So
how much are you?
I'm down 1%.
Reality.
Like 1%.
By the way, thank you. Other day, I was listening to the podcast, and you say when you're calculating, your gains, include the fee.
You
right?
must.
Yeah, and I wasn't doing that at first. I was just saying, when you said that, I was like, you know what? Let me go back, check the fees for all of this, add it on, and then see where I really am.
Yeah, so that looks like.
Yeah.
What your portfolio look like after you did that?
It went down.
No, we know that, but I mean, what's your portfolio like?
Oh, my portfolio is very small. Cygnus and QWI, and I want to get into trans and proven.
Proven is listed right now.
Yeah, no, I want to get into proven. As in, I haven't bought it in years yet.
What are you waiting on?
I mean, it's at a 52-week high. So
it's at a 52-week high right now?
Yeah, that's what happened today.
What does that tell you?
What does that mean?
I mean, I'd love to buy. I mean, I'd love to buy lower.
And say tomorrow is a 52-week high. What are you saying?
I mean, it's not a 52-week high.
It's not a
52-week high. 47.54, sorry.
Which is...
And the 52-week high is 55.
Okay.
You know which company I think will...
No, let him finish.
Yeah, finish.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, what I said is I really want to buy lower. I really would love to buy lower.
If you keep watching the highs,
yeah.
You might even never see those.
So let me get this straight. Why are you buying it? Why do you want to buy it?
So, I mean, the way how I've been thinking about these things is I want to buy into companies that still have a lot of room for growth. Okay. Right? And I do see... By a lot of external factors, looking at it, I do see that there is room for growth, and that they've set some things in place that will allow them to grow. That's it. Very simple. That's very simple looking at it.
That's fine.
Sure, I'm paraphrasing from Mr. Michael Leaching.
Uncle Michael. Big up Leaching.
What I do is simple, not easy.
Not easy. Is Michael Leaching this sir?
Yeah.
Big up Uncle Michael indeed.
Simple, not easy.
Yeah.
So execute. So the thought process is not. It's not a hard thought process to run through. You know what you're looking for. You know what you want from something.
Yeah.
And then to measure, will that thing give me what I want? You know what it needs to do.
Yeah.
That's simple. Execution, going deep and doing that. That's not the easy part.
Yeah. Hey man, I get you.
It's easy when I can just fling money and everything work out.
Yeah, I mean obviously.
But you know that that has been for some people. So
for sure. I mean, this year one of my goals is definitely to aggressively grow my portfolio. You know, as I said, you have to set the goal. You have to know where you want to go.
But I mean, you're talking about the straight stocks for this part, because after this we talk stocks and we wrap up. Gardner, use up him chance. So you go ahead and tell me what's your goal for this year, 2020?
Yeah. So I mean, my goal for this year is to get into. To get my stock portfolio into 7 figures, firstly, and then after getting to 7 figures, I mean, I'm not trying to go for any crazy returns, but I would love to get more than 40% returns on what I'm putting in.
Not going for anything, but crazy 40
and 7 figures.
7 figures and 40.
Yeah, I mean, listen to me. I'm gonna listen to a whole heap of earning season. Going to come. I'm going to go to a few sessions. Definitely educate myself. Work as hard as I can. To ensure that I have the income to obviously put into. I don't expect to grow $30,000 into 7 figures. I have to
Why not?
I mean, that would be great.
I just don't like if you dream for something you can dream.
Yeah, man. What I'm talking about just on returns alone. I'm talking about I have to increase my income to ensure that I have the bandwidth to continuously put in.
Zachary Harding said?
Capital preservation strategy.
Same thing. It's across the board.
You guys want to hear my dark horse pick for 2020?
Go ahead, Gordon.
He can't burrito.
CAC 2000 actually.
CSC 2000 is your dark horse.
Yeah.
Why? Because you don't want anything you want us to tell you if you're wrong. Right?
No, I actually have no position in CAC.
Yeah. You have to say about the investment.
So I think that they were severely impacted by the roadworks for real.
In what way?
So when the roadworks began, right? You actually saw a drop in CAC's performance after the fact, and I mean,
Did you?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
I am 95% sure about that.
I love to the 100, you know, because that's very testable, to be honest.
Yo, there's this door to this room, right? You go into it, there's only a 95% chance you'll live.
You go.
Yeah, man, I go through that door. I'm.
What you say?
Yeah, man. I go through that door.
So, Randy, the 2 questions.
Go to the next. Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, so yeah.
5% chance you're going to definitely die.
But if you read the book on the ground, you know what's going to happen.
Oh well, for sure. Then you read the book.
But there's a book.
You read the book.
So
I'm
I'm
telling you this in the CSC.
Oh yeah. So let me. All right.
So are you 95 or are you 100?
I'm 100% sure.
All right, cool.
No, I'm joking. Edit that out.
I want to. Since we're here asking questions, I'd love to know your thoughts on VMBS, Victoria Mutual.
Oh, Victoria Mutual.
Yeah. No, I mean VMIL.
Oh,
Investment Limited.
Investment Limited.
Yeah.
Good company, strong company. They've done a lot recently, and I like their push outside of the Caribbean. They're doing investment banking in the way I like to see it. Their bond offers, they do it in a creative way with the actual buying and selling of bonds. So they make heavy commission. They own Victoria Mutual Wealth Management, so that's where I used to work. So yeah, they do a lot of good stuff in the industry, and the investment banking push that they're doing now. So they took on the money from the listing, and you realize that they didn't really do IPOs heavily before, but you realize now they're taking stakes in companies. So they did 1 or 2 IPOs. They did PJX actually, which is a big IPO. But now they have Carryland. You should know Carryland. I said about them recently. So Carryland in Barbados. They took and then I saw a job offer for would be the head of Carryland in Jamaica. So they're starting it here. So that's spreading, and in my mind, it's a listing opportunity for them. Listing while owning a stake, skin in the game. So their CEO right now, he's a very smart man and he's strong. He's an actual investor. If you know what to look for, you see me on the market, right? So strong CEO. Did work with him before, and yeah.
Okay. I mean.
So I know that his market outlook mirrors ours in a certain way. Different level of money, of course.
Yeah.
And then he has VM money to work with. Yeah. So yeah, if you look at VM doing what they do, you notice VM was one of the takers of a large stake in Wigton. And you hear us talk about Mayberry often, about how we like how they do business, or how they like how their view of the market and what they do in the market. Them actually having skin in the game for themselves. VMIL, one of the only companies, so they have, I think, the largest stake in Wigton. They and Mayberry are at the top.
Okay.
So that's a similar move, a move I admire.
Yeah, man, I definitely appreciate that insight.
Did you not have that insight before?
I did not have all of that insight, only some of it. I didn't know about the Wigton stake.
I hear you guys talking about why you investing and stuff. It's the same thing at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, you spend all this time telling me about with business.
So you mentioned management.
Exactly.
Yeah, he mentioned management. And I mean, as I said, like the reason I'm looking at Victoria Mutual is I'm seeing that they're poised for growth. There's some...
what that mean?
Huh?
Everybody's saying what that mean.
All right, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing at least external signals of initiatives that will push the needle forward for the company That's what I'm looking for. Like when I look at JMMB, I say, okay, JMMB has a young banking business. It still hasn't hit full velocity as yet. They recently launched certain products. They're getting into everybody's getting their Visa debit cards. Therefore, more e-commerce will be happening. They'll be charging more fees through that. So I'm looking at that and saying, okay, based on these external factors, what I'm looking at, I'm seeing that there is, based on what they have already, there is more to go. And there are other ways, and there is lines of business and diversification and more ways for them to make money that will be to my benefit as a shareholder if I'm a shareholder in JMMB. And that's really what I look at first. And then if I see that, then I dig deeper.
So after both out in there. So you hear me around the chair about the outlook on MJE because you look at the profit line. So people, we look at the NAV and say, oh, that's the value of MJE. MJE, you look on the income statements, you see they put profit and then they have comprehensive income. And the other comprehensive income is made up of the profit line and the other securities that they hold, other stocks that they're not booking on the profit line, right? And very often it's a very high figure in other comprehensive income where they've taken losses in the profit line. And people look at that as the indicator of what's happening in MJE. But me and Randy, we often laugh and say, oh boy, OCI, that's where the actual money is in MJE. You see they're actually making a heavy money there. If you look at VMIL, I think I even tweeted it once. Why doesn't VMIL book the stock, the fair value gains from the from their investment portfolio in the profit line? Because you saw they're making some heavy profits now, but you actually look at the other comprehensive income, it's massive.
And what sense profit to that? Because people listening and a whole lot of people lost.
No, the investment, so I think it was fair value profit and loss. So it was the equity portfolio, I think.
In other words,
VM's equity portfolio was growing.
Mm-hmm. In other words, stocks them own was growing, but
strong.
But
so
they report the movement in those share prices
in the
below the net profit.
Below the net profit.
Mm-hmm. So some people say that's not a real profit, right? Because paper profit. It's not. I don't own more money just because that price changed.
Yeah, but it's interesting enough. So them booking it in OCI, that's them saying. Oh, I think that's the general thought of that is that's not material to what we consider the business. So Mayberry's portfolio is their portfolio. This is what we'll make some extra money in that. We're making some heavy money there, but what we're focused on is
our portfolio.
Companies.
Yeah.
VM's business, so the lending, the finance, the
carry lend?
No, not carry lend, yes, to some degree, but their core operation, the VM Wealth Management, the VMIL, the lending,
investment
that to them, extra investment backing, to them, that's our base. And the equity. It's material, it's just we're making money on the side, really.
Yeah, supplementary to our it's supplementary to our actual.
Yeah, funny enough, big up
but you're not actually you're not cashing in on those gains if you buy at whatever price.
Yeah.
Hi guys, small break. Hope you enjoyed it. I know this one might be going a little longer, but I don't want you to be too bored. I'll keep it stocks. I'm glad we have two young people here. It's actually two people who would like each of them to come back. I was joking when we were in the break. I was saying that Jermaine, although I said it on the podcast, I'm happy. You're the first person I see talk garden under the table, so that's good. That's good because I did not know this guy. I was prepared for him to come. Yeah.
It's because Jermaine is also from Manchester.
Okay, so Manchester chat enough.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Big up Mandeville. I'm from Kingston, so I call the
Big
whole
up Christiana, specifically. I'm from Christiana, not Mandeville.
Which part of Mandeville that? Your country people always trying to specify the area.
To everybody outside, to everybody who lives in Kingston, everything outside.
I am trying to change that narrative.
Everybody outside of Kingston.
No, I just hope it's some country. I started saying Moko. Big up Moko.
Clarendon?
Big up Moko.
Yeah. Okay. I don't play with Clarendon. That's like Spanish Town Extension High School. Or extension clip. Anyway, we're talking about stocks. I like that we have two young CEOs here, below 30. Gordon, you were on the, what's that list?
50 under 50.
50 under 50.
With Tyrone and Kimala.
It's a ratted list. Big up. What's her name, Gordon?
Who?
The person who did.
Sandra Glasgow.
Sandra Glasgow.
Yeah, quietly. Sandra Glasgow.
We talk, I don't know if you mentioned in the podcast, we did talk about women at the start, and there are two women, obviously if you listen to the podcast, if you listen carefully, you hear many times talk about Kimala, and how many different people talk about Kimala. I think we've had about 2 or 3 guests now who have referenced Kimala
Big up
as part
Kimala.
of their starting journey, right? And that's 3 people with 3 companies doing well. I mean, one of them was listed, one half listed, one said that if it's right, you'll think about it. Big up Laing, Manish Water again. So Kimala's had a quiet, formative role. And Kimala is also young.
Yeah.
But the
Kimala is
second
there,
name
very
that I
young.
see when I think in the same sort of field, where you quietly hear the name mentioned behind a whole bunch of stories, Sandra Glass.
Yeah, man. Big up Sandra Glass.
Yeah, man, big up Sandra,
Not
for real.
Sandra, yeah.
Yeah, literally see it. And I say it, I've said it on a podcast before, an earlier episode. I say it again, and I look for the link again and share it. The 50 under 50 list, when you look on that list, it's like us picking stocks, man. It's on point. Like, the creatives list had Kimala from Lab, Tyrone from iCreate. I want to say it had Storm Sauter, the director. This is just one category, you know. And she had picked this years ago. How much years ago was it? 50 under 50?
It was 2013.
Yeah, I feel bad because I feel like I might be.
Access Financial CEO, I think, was on.
Yeah, I'm just talking within the creative thing. I know I've forgotten people. It's like literally everybody should pick. Under the business, the same thing.
Yeah.
Garden was, what were you under Garden?
Education with Yannick Page, Lisa Lake.
Big up Yannick Page, big up
Lisa Lake.
Lisa Lake.
She's run Branson Center. She's now running Restaurant Associates Limited.
Big up all the food that comes out of
Burger
that
King.
area.
Burger King, Popeyes.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was also Kelly Magnus. Yeah.
Big up
That
Kelly
was
Magnus.
that was the totality of that list.
Kelly Magnus is big and lit, you know, quietly
Yeah,
for
man.
years.
Yeah. She's doing some great work in that space too.
Yeah. I mean, Sandra Glasgow picked it right. Yeah, she picked it right. Yeah, I mean, when you look on the pictures, it's literally just, now you know these names because of IPOs. At the time, it's like, who are these people? Right, so she had the eye for the time, so big up Sandra
She had
Glasgow
Parris.
for that. Yeah.
How do you pronounce his name?
Parris, I'm not going to embarrass myself. I know.
Yo.
Junior. I've
The
never said
junior.
it out loud.
Yeah. Yeah,
from
man. What was a
Monagy.
decent list? Yeah, from Monagy Informatics. Really bright guy.
Yeah. Who I think, I could be wrong, but I think he's son of one of
The senior. Yeah.
directors of Carib Cement, I think.
And Jane. I mean, his dad is on a couple of boards, right?
He's in the board circle, yeah.
Yeah, man, definitely.
But yeah, so good talent to have in Jamaica. And I'm glad to have 2 of the young people here. Yeah. So I'm glad to talk about stocks in regular ways. And I like that, despite what people think, you guys aren't necessarily talking huge amounts, right? And you guys aren't investing. You guys invested more than $10 million?
No, I mean, it's just a measly $500 I started with, and kind of grown it.
No, I mean where you are now, Mr.
Oh,
Humble.
not much. No, not much. Like 10 grand Jamaican.
But you don't have to talk about your money if you don't talk about your money.
Oh, no. I mean, it's not a big deal for me. I talk about money, right?
Okay.
But my portfolio is very small. Very, very small. Not much.
Okay, cool.
But I think what is important is not the portfolio size. It's again going back to my initial point about understanding the fundamentals. Like once you understand the and I think I was having a conversation with you, Randy. I was saying I think a lot of people are on this IPO surfing thing now, and they've gotten lucky. In other words, they've seen gains. They've seen cap gains, and I think that has kind of caused some issue in my eyes in the sense that it's not giving them an appreciation for understanding the fundamentals, because you'll not always win on IPOs.
Depending where they're for. So
Yeah.
it can be a good start.
Exactly.
The best
Look
thing
at QWI right now.
People learn why.
Yeah, look at the QWI. Everything fresh. Has everything fresh recovered from its?
The man them broke the fell below $1.
What did the IPO at?
I don't even remember.
Yes, I don't even think IPO.
2000 something.
Yeah, what was that name of that medical place in Mobay?
Still is there.
GUS?
GUS? Has GUS recovered from its Anyway,
SWAT. No, I think it's still making
IPO
losses, still going through it.
so it's on its IPO price, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are a couple of companies, but people have gotten lucky, right?
You say people have gotten lucky. You mean if you bought something without knowing what you're buying?
Yeah, like you just
Blindly
buy
go
it.
into it
You
and-
see an IPO, you in your head an IPO must do well,
IPO must
and you buy it. I think that's
sin.
the wrong approach.
Stone.
Yeah.
Who among us
I've
has
done
not
it.
done that?
No, we've all done it, right?
No.
Yeah, I've done it for sure.
By the time IPO will get hot.
By the time I'll do IPOs, I my
You're-
first
yeah.
stock was a lot of things.
Yeah, man. So yeah, for me. So even for example, me selling my exiting my position in Pulse early. I exited my position in Pulse at $3 something. Right now it closed yesterday at. It closed yesterday.
I don't know why it closed up, but I know it traded as high as $9.
It closed yesterday at $8.46.
And during that day, it traded as high as $9.
$9.91.
$9.91.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not on, what I like is that it's not on light volume. Yeah, it's on serious volume, on 335,000.
335,000, 14. Yeah, man.
Pulse is known for the volume problem. So.
Yeah. All as in it doesn't usually have a big volume.
Yeah.
Close to $10.
And somebody else didn't know.
Yeah, man.
Somebody entering now. Every time you say I sell it, somebody does.
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody's trading.
But you live and you learn. I mean, they're great lessons to learn early on.
What have you learned? Let's use you really have the chance.
I mean, understanding the fundamentals and realizing that there's a lot of gains left on a stock, and don't be daunted by any sudden drop, because when I bought in, there was a drop, right?
What you bought in at?
I bought in at like $3.36. I remember the exact number, somewhere there about. And it dropped.
How long ago?
August last year.
Woo.
Yeah. So.
And since August 2019 till now, February 2019, it's up what?
It's up a decent amount.
You say if you bought in at $3 something?
Yeah, $3 like 36 cents or something to that effect.
$3.36, and it's currently up.
Then nice face.
$8. Then I is quick at math. He sits through me doing these slow calculations. So $8.46, $3.36. 151% growth since August 2019.
Yeah, man. So look, you live and you learn.
No, that's true. No, it's the most important thing. So what have you learned in terms of Pulse? So how do you feel about Pulse now?
I think Pulse still has a lot of growth left to do, actually. Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
You truly believe that?
I do.
How much growth do you think?
I mean, they just took on a lot of debt and they've not started leveraging that yet. They have a lot of investments to do, to build out. They must make money, like it's sure.
No.
Well, all right, no, it's not sure. Let me take that back. But based on the prevailing market conditions,
prevailing market, what is that? What is that?
One condition.
What do you mean by prevailing
the real
market
estate
conditions?
sector is booming. Tourist arrivals are up. People are looking for a kind of higher end Airbnb experience. They're focused in the Airbnb space. They're in a secluded out of the town area. And they're also keeping more events at Villa Renai, so more people are being exposed to their properties and what they have to offer. Yes, it's not sure that their revenues will increase, but based on what I've seen and based on historical performance and based on Kingsley Cooper's leadership, just generally the leadership of him and his daughter.
There we go. And don't take it from her.
Yeah, I'm not taking it from her. Kingsley Cooper.
Cooper has been CEO
absolutely.
of Pulse since
I didn't even know
2016
Yeah.
or 2017.
Big up Staff Cooper.
If we look at this as an American market and CEOs can plant their foot and put their name on what happened, it's after she reached at the profit rise.
Yeah, man, for sure. So I give it to her. Young CEO too.
Young CEO also.
Yeah, man. So for sure, big up Safia Cooper.
I think she don't get the praise she does because people talk about they're not.
Yeah, because he's in some effects still the face.
He's the face.
He's the face,
but
right?
that's not uncommon. He's a chairman.
Yeah,
And he's also the face of, because think of post modeling.
You think of
You think of post modeling.
Yeah.
And it's a legacy company now.
Yeah, man, for sure.
His company.
Yeah. So again, it's still a bet, right? But I'm again
okay.
based on historicals, I see them continuing to do well. A lot of people will be phased on the price as it is right now, saying you hear people say, "Oh, it's expensive." No, it's not expensive.
So is it expensive?
No, it's absolutely not expensive.
Oh, what is it then?
It's still underpriced based on where they're going.
Word.
Yeah.
How much you think they'll be worth at the end of the year?
It's $8.46. I think at the end of 2020 they'll probably be at around
We'll do exact numbers.
$13.
$13 flat for Pulse at the end of 2020.
$13.
$13 for Pulse. What do you feel about that, Danai?
So
Yeah.
the PE ad thing there.
The PE at $8 is 21 times.
Which is a little high, but
is 21
It's
times.
high, but it's still under the market. Market is 25.
Yeah, market is.
And we also know that they have new business coming out, as you said.
Yeah.
Today. So I try to explain to people, people don't get it. Debt isn't a bad thing.
no, that is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Debt,
Then just want the money for. Yeah.
yeah.
That is not a bad thing if it's being used for productive reasons.
Yeah.
And they're not taking it to buy box food.
They're taking the debt to invest it. Yeah, man. Which is, I think $13 at the end of the year is pretty reasonable. As you said, the PE is at 21, 25 is the market rate. You do the math, you realize that's not an unreasonable amount. So let's see December 31st what they close at.
It's not PE that this thing is a fact.
No, for sure. But it is a consideration.
The hotel in New Kingston. That's where a lot of money comes in. That's where a lot of people stay.
Yeah.
We spoke about the Villa and stuff, and that's yet to be built and all that. But the hotel in New Kingston is a place where money is coming.
But I realize that a couple listed companies.
What you said?
It's operational.
I don't know what
It is a couple listed companies are keeping their AGM at Villa.
Things are always kept at Villa.
No, I'm just saying, like, no, man, I get that, I'm just saying that you're starting to see more and more traction up that side, and you're trying to diversify from just the Kingston operation.
And they're also trying to diversify the compound. They're putting more stuff on the compound. There's more rental income that they have there now.
In fact, they have...
They had some modeling pulse stuff up there the other day.
Well, I mean, there are also modeling companies.
Yeah, for sure.
That still continues, and they still make money from that.
For sure.
Core. But they also the real estate obviously is so huge, and I don't hear you mention any of the huge things they have coming. These guys have given hints of a stock split and a rights issue. We see that the price rising heavily now. It's not uncommon, I think, for a price rise to sometimes precipitate the rights issue, where
3 for 1, you think is gonna happen? 3 for 1.
$9 and can't get much volume because Pulse is liquid.
Yes. And somebody just bought huge volumes, and people have been buying generally huge volumes of our illiquid stock, which means that when you do a rights issue, hypothetically, you have an opportunity for that price to fly.
But let me just understand clearly though, for a stock split, you get diluted if you're not. After a stock split, you get diluted if you're not reinvesting or buying more stock.
Well, you should answer that since you want to learn. What is a stock split doesn't dilute you. I'll skip it. A stock split doesn't dilute you.
Okay.
A stock split just gives you more stocks for any amount of stocks you have. If the company have 1 million stocks and you have a 2 for 1 stock split, same exact company, you just have 2 million stocks.
But you have to drive liquidity, right?
But that's one of the reasons here. It does give the opportunity for more liquidity, but don't think that that's always a reason, right? And I should point out that it's like, so if the company is 1 million shares at $1 each, and you have a 2 for 1 stock split, you now have 2 million shares at 50 cents each. Yeah, that's very important, because people tell me like, everybody must know that. No, everybody don't know that, so we say it for everybody. Yeah, so no, it's like getting change. Still, $100 you have is just $250 instead of $100, right? And in Jamaica, stock split tends to psychologically, for some reason, send people up. And I can understand liquidity as a true thing now.
Yeah.
Pulse now as something that might not be as liquid. Could do a stock split for liquidity, and I could see that sending the price up. But they have stated clearly that they are considering a rights issue, I believe, at a high price or something nice, which means that if a stock was $10 and you have a rights issue at $10 for $5, that means you have a stock that's being sold for $10 and I have the option, if I already own it, to buy X amount of units. Whatever amount of units you have, they worked out as a percentage of that. I have X amount of units at $5. What is it?
And they're very often priced in a certain way, so that even though the amount of shares go up, the appreciation on the spread, you still make money.
Yeah.
So you do get that. You don't get diluted in the rights issue. You get diluted if new shares are created, and you are not automatically assigned the percentage that you already hold.
So the dilution from rights issue, I did not buy any of the shares in the issue.
All right. So I said that to say it's usually exciting because you said I took on debt. You take a rights issue, you can use a rights issue and pay off the debt immediately. So now I just have money.
So so the debt to me, if that's the plan, it looks like the debt is just smart moves. My boy, where he gives you money before you go on to your project. So they need the money now. Go start the project. You're spending money on the project. We don't have the cash to pay off the debt. Do the rights issue and pay it off. I don't have debt payments, but I have an asset that I just bought into.
Yeah, that can generate revenue for you.
And shareholders are happy.
Yeah.
Because at $10, can you imagine if the rights issue price is $5 tonight? Yo, Pulse, when you're buying it, if you did buy it when you were supposed to keep it, so even $5 would have been huge profit, you know? $3 and $5 is huge profit, you know? Now imagine if
take off the million.
$10.
I'm kidding.
And you get a rights issue at $5. The stock worth $10. You're about to get that it's a half price discount right there. You buy more, and the next day when it's done, those things you bought at $5 are automatically worth $10. Beautiful. Yeah. So maybe that's why people are excited. Yeah. And maybe that date is pulling close. A lot of things seem to be happening in the market now. Yeah, we've skipped Trans-Jamaica a whole lot, but I have two young people here, so I should ask you guys how you feel about Trans-Jamaica.
The moat is clear. Yeah.
Hear that one out there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Right. What have you been reading? What's this week's Buffett?
no, I mean, look.
Invest in businesses
The
with?
bar, huh?
Investing, well, that I know. Is investing businesses with? Yeah. A strong moat. That's a strong Buffett principle.
No, so look, how many people can get into the highway business? I mean,
Exactly, that was my point.
Yeah.
That's complimenting your point. So.
Yeah, yes. No, I'm not.
I'm sure probably believe we are Buffett fans.
Yeah.
Huge Buffett fans.
Speak about this
Not
guy
based
very
on the
often.
conversations that you guys have, but
No, you're taking it wrong way then.
You do take it wrong. I'm telling you, there's no tongue-in-cheek, double meaning.
yeah.
If you see our private conversations, we speak
We
about
are
Buffett.
Buffett fans. What he has, if you follow his journey, let me show you something I read. I get asked all the time what I read. I tell the things I read people aren't interested in per se, and it's not investment stuff. Yeah, I'm not into you, Ben Graham. It's a good book, Intelligent Investor. But this I'm showing you, Gordon, that I'm reading. What is that?
It's Berkshire Hathaway's annual report.
All the time I read the old ones. He says the things he says in there.
He says, and let us see the investors, yo, bro.
On their crappy
Gems.
website.
It's been a while since
You know, that reminds me of?
Since I said this, guys. So gems, bro, gems.
Yeah.
Gems.
You know what that reminds me of? It's like the equivalent of CAB putting out a prospectus
Go
document.
easy.
No, I'm just saying clearly.
No, I get what you're trying to say, but Cab and Buffett.
No, man, you're missing the point. I'm just saying,
apologies.
crappy Berkshire Hathaway website, but a lot of value, right?
Oh, yes.
Huge.
Right?
Correct.
A lot of value,
So
right?
it's not the fluff that is
There you go.
determining it. Yeah,
And that's not to say you can't fluff sometimes, you know.
Oh, fluff, nice.
It's
Mark.
nice. It cushion you.
Yo, you know when fluff is best? When the base is strong.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
man.
So everything just comes together very
man.
nicely.
See there? Yeah,
Because you're bossy, but you have something to boast about.
but yeah, absolutely.
nothing-
It sucks. It sucks when you're boasty, but you have nothing to boast
boast
about.
about.
There we go.
You better you have something to boast about and don't boast.
Yes.
Than to be boasting when you have nothing to boast about.
There we go.
Right.
There we go. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
We have changed, but
Well, you've known me a long
someone
time.
more zen.
Don't hold on to the old
No,
Gordon.
I don't. I'm glad that you can say that. Why are you so zen these days? I'm sure people are listening.
Marriage.
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 I know you never mention it.
Marriage.
Big up
Love my
Mrs.
wife. Big up
Swebe.
Kemisha Swebe. Kemisha Swebe.
Mrs.
Not Kemisha
Kemisha,
Kelly. Not Kemisha Kelly anymore. Kemisha Swebe. We get it right.
Say it again.
Kemisha
Nobody
Swebe.
said it
So
other than you, but continue.
the biggest of all big ups tonight
Straight up.
to my wife.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Biggest of big ups. I am who I am because of her.
Also, much respect and big up to your wife, of course, and the other Mrs. Swebe, who is also a huge reason for why you are. I would say half of everything you are is because of her.
Well,
And Mr. Swebe, your father.
from a genetical.
Yeah, but you find your wife, you find your life.
There you go. Right.
Congrats on that.
Thank you. But going back to our point about Highway 2000, I mean, what higher barrier to entry do you want to have? Like there is inherent risk in every business, and there is inherent risk in Highway 2000 Trans. But suffice to say, yeah, right. It's a clear buy. It's a clear buy. In my opinion, again, I'm not a licensed financial advisor.
But tell them why you
You're talking about yourself, too.
You're talking about yourself. True.
Yeah, I'm talking about myself. It's a clear buy for me. It wasn't a clear buy for me a week ago, but just based on, and again, I need to go through the prospectus
That's fine.
one last time, but based on how things are. Look, even from a real estate perspective, people don't understand what's happening. I got a message today, and it was from a certain CEO.
Oh, yeah, I say.
And, you know,
Pick that up. Hold on. Pick that up, Gordon.
What that?
I thought you went to name drop. Go again.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm not gonna call any names. But you look at what is happening for Highway 2000. That Williams Field,
The second leg.
that second leg,
Or
right?
third leg. If we.
That makes Mandeville
Oh yes, I also
maybe 20%. Sorry, it cuts off 20 minutes. About
Take
25
about an hour and a half to get to Christiana. No, it might take an hour.
hour, right? Yeah. Mandeville, their
No, you
launch.
need to cut off 10 minutes. 10 minutes is huge.
Yeah,
Driving time.
Bloomfield Life, Bloomfield Penn Gray, Greenville Road. Yeah, so it's a decent opportunity.
often spoken about, but I'm not.
And more people will traverse the route because they can get to their destination fast. Like, you're not going to avoid the highway to save some money when you can get to your location much faster. So for me, the value is clear, and yes, they have a lot of debt, but yeah. Well, is the debt gone? That's again, I need to go back.
That don't mean they just tell me that you borrowed some money.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, so what I've not often spoken about, I'm not sure I've spoken about publicly, is my excitement for the growth of Portmore.
Portmore for sure.
Portmore, the fact that it's a growing business community.
Yeah, for sure.
Growing. Biggest dormitory.
It's growing.
I think it's still growing.
Yeah.
You can see businesses moving because it's a high residential areas like Kingston. A lot of people live there, so it just makes sense for business to be there. If we can bring country, I guess Mandeville becomes so much.
Yes, it becomes so much more accessible.
In fact, the real estate for the entire area becomes more valuable.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, I have some plans, but
I can now commute to Portmore much easier. Just because. So, I don't people from Mandeville say, boy, they're in Kingston because they just can't get a job where they are in the field. Portmore is there.
Yes.
If I live in Mandeville, I can. So,
It's
it just opens
so simple to live in Mandeville.
Yeah, man. I mean, so like I can say,
develop in Jamaica and the roads and accessibility. That's what I'm looking for. Stuff like that happen. So that's like the highway build out to St. Thomas doing them thing right now.
yeah, huge.
And you can look at Jamaican history. We've seen the growth in certain areas, in certain ways, just from the fact that we have highways and highways coming and things grow.
we can talk about Ochiris is a lot nicer since the highway, right? We can just talk about
Not Highway 2000, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but when we're talking about North South Highway, definitely has
sure,
The
impacted.
concept is the same.
Yeah, it definitely has
for sure,
impacted
for sure.
Ochiris as a so
Yeah.
I'm from Mandeville. I'm from
Mandeville
I'm
also?
from Mandeville, yeah.
Oh, you're from actually Mandeville?
Yeah, I'm from actually Mandeville.
You live in the town?
I used to live in the town. We moved out of the town recently.
Wow.
So I'm from Mandeville. My father works in Kingston, and he's back and forth relatively often. No, not every day. So he stays in Kingston probably 2 nights a week, but he's back and forth most of the time, right? And he always said, any day them do Williamsfield to Maypen.
Yeah.
I'll give up my apartment at Kingston and travel go to Mandeville every day.
And it makes
How much
sense.
you sell the apartment for?
Because at that point it makes more sense to travel from Mandeville to Kingston than it does to travel from Stony Hill to probably your place of employment, right?
I noticed in other countries, America is always an easy one to go to. You have communities, you have like a suburb out in the middle or whatever. And around the suburb, you get your Burger King, you get your banks, you get your gas stations, you get your pharmacy, you get your supermarket. In Jamaica, we have this big community. You'll have 1,000 people live up in a community up in the hill. And the supermarket is 2 miles away down in the town. Everybody forgot the town for everything. I go to the bank, I forgot town. But there's 300 of us that live up here. The bank probably just have 300 customers. Maybe a smaller branch could be up there and it could work, right? And you know what happens the second you do that? You start having more things because, boy, I'm not about to get this. I get to go town next week. Or I go town Friday. But if it's right there, I'm going to get it. And that's consumption immediately. All that time. Consumption might be, I drink more water, which means we think of sell 3 more right here than them used to sell. Can you imagine you sell 1 and you're selling 3?
You're lowering the barrier to access.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you make it easy for people to consume,
convenience
and make
always
it convenient,
increases consumption.
Yeah.
And when consumption rise, if we invest in consumption-based companies, it's great. And tie it back to the highway. That highway can't stop. I noticed something in the... Sorry to that, I like to cut you, but you're not almost it. I'm sorry, I always cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I was looking at your example, the bank being here and the town being over there, as the way Jamaica is for Kingston. So
Yes.
if I work, I can come from Hanover, come from Manchester, but I will leave out for work in Kingston. So everybody is crowded in Kingston because of accessibility. So the fact that we have stuff like this building or infrastructure, so you have Portmore becomes a new business hub. All people can, so it's no longer only if one opportunity I go to Kingston. So you have the residential community can build up around Portmore. So to the point where you're even living in Portmore.
When last you go to the movie theater?
Exactly.
Tell the people about it because Parris are listening.
I went to the police thing there. My first thing I sent to me the it looks pretty lean.
What looks lean?
That theater.
Portmore.
Yeah.
There's not a huge build out of all this. There's not much areas on it, but you have a space. There's a restaurant, and then there's the thing there, and you're just going to the movie theater. You're going to the movie theater. To be honest, I'm here for the movie. It's not for the standing up around out, but that's a different thing from a point I'm making with the infrastructure. People live in Spanish Town. My parents live in Spanish Town just because it's beside Kingston.
Yeah.
I can go there. The children can go there for school and people can go there for work. If Portmore becomes this, then they can have other places around Portmore, not just in Portmore. I guess the real estate value in Portmore is high. So if I want to have Portmore effect, if I want to have Portmore, because place that's accessible by Portmore.
Yeah.
So simple something. I got more of those places building up and up and up. Eventually Jamaica will look different. And we have to go to our underbanked, say how much of Jamaica is underbanked and stuff like that.
That cannot last.
Cannot last. With stuff like that happening, you go certain you go Portland. I find an ATM.
Yeah, and you can't underestimate the value of also educating your people. I mean, there's huge value in that. I mean, there's a barrier to a lot of things right now because people aren't. No, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about just general education and the value.
That's why in 2020 I will be running for.
Right, but yeah, education is a huge part of it, and not everybody will have access to tertiary education for varying means, right? Whether they live outside a town or there's a barrier to entry in terms of cost.
Yes.
There are alternative paths of educating where people are being created right now, and I think that any company that unlocks that value in a big way is also a big buy. So
like who, Gordon?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying that whoever unlocks that kind of value,
like a toothache.
yeah, anybody who unlocks that value definitely, it benefits the country.
definitely.
It's a win-win-win. It's a win for everybody. It's a win for the company. It's a win for the country. A rising tide raises all ships.
Yes.
When more Jamaicans are better off financially, emotionally, mentally, then we'll have a healthier, safer country. And
that's all right. I like that.
So yeah.
I plug myself. Speaking of education, I made a tweet recently about the Student Loan Bureau.
I saw that tweet. Great tweet.
Yeah, man. So
Great
Robert Morgan's suggestion.
Good youth.
Then I was going to send it to me so I can put it in the show notes, guys.
Student Loan Bureau, their forgiveness of people going into essential services. So if you're going to work in the essential service for 5 years, then you get certain jobs will get forgiveness. So actually, I was on thing. Big up Leon Jackson Miller. I was on the headlines with Robert Morgan today, actually.
Nice.
Just switching out that point a bit more.
Yeah.
My tweet was about. So I made a counter suggestion. My suggestion on top of his suggestion was that people pay 50% of the student loan. So if they're under 5 years, so if I'm going to work in essential service for 5 years, then instead of having a loan forgiveness, I pay 50% of the student loan forward, and then student loan, the actual loan payment, 50% for the 5 years, and at the end of the 5 years, I get all the money I paid as a lump sum.
Yeah.
So the person gets a lump sum, they can invest, they can buy whatever they want with it.
Okay. Wait, hold on. I pay 50%, and then if I work for the government for 5 years, I get it back.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So I don't make you pay 100% if you can get it back.
You get it back because a big part of it is reducing the payment burden on people.
I like that.
So without a reduction, then it's still payment burden. And those maybe one year I get the money back. So that's the thought of 50% cut.
Yeah.
All right. I'll play devil's advocate if I can. How do we then, in case if I get the Student Loan Bureau, supposed to fund education? How does the Student Loan Bureau then refund itself and make money?
All right. So I didn't elaborate on that point on the radio.
Well, you can do it on your show.
Oh yeah, man, definitely. So he was saying that the government will pay. So instead of the loan isn't forgiven, it's just the government would go forward and pay the loan.
Government don't have no money.
That was my issue. So I will say, so my thought on that. So if the government subsidizes that person's loan, the loan from the Student Loan Bureau, when do the 5 years, the government will go forward and pay for that person's loan instead of the person paying out of their pocket. So that would be the forgiveness on their part. They don't have to pay out of their pocket at all. But Jamaica would have to pay for it.
If I can
It's
even...
just one thing. So where does the money come from?
So it's a revolving fund. So all the money in the fund is the money in the fund.
But here's that, Randy. Even if it has to be subsidized by the state, it's worth it. I want to even add to that point and say that...
You're a biased party.
No, hold on. I want to... No, hold on. Let me add to that point.
Let me
add to that point. I say, taking it even further, the SLB should consider funding non-traditional paths of education. So even online education education is a pathway in terms of funding the SLB itself. I think that's something that has become more popular as ISAs, income sharing agreements, where if you're taking through the program, it's paid upfront by the SLB. Once you get employed, and I think it should be, the caveat should be, it should be in a growth industry, right? So you get employed in that growth industry if you're earning, say,
so every few years we determine what the next set of industries.
Yes, there you go, right? So you channel people in a particular direction. So you're funding a particular industry if you're earning, say,
You just reinvented hard.
6 million JMD or more,
Yeah.
right? Then you pay a percentage of your salary to SLB every month up to for 3 years, and then that's how you can also fund. So there are varying ways at it.
Definitely.
But ultimately, SLB's model needs to be disrupted and rethought because the way that they're doing things now are outdated.
Oh yeah. So he was mentioning that it will be for STEM, so police, nurses, critical care nurses, and teachers. They're facing the most brain drain.
Yeah.
So we need to hold that. We need to get that. So
And you know that brain drain can be seen as a positive thing too, in the sense that we're creating quality people,
I was thinking,
and they're being exported.
And,
I
know remittances work for us.
Yeah, exactly.
So so my
We've been reversing it too. Nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
We've been reversing it.
Yeah.
Top talent have been coming back. Jeremy said he used to work overseas. Here you are working back here. Top talent comes back to Jamaica. Continue that.
Oh yeah, so I think there. But what I didn't expound on. So his issue with my position was that they'll get the money, but they'll pay it back out. Since it's a revolving fund, them getting the money and paying it back out, they still lose that money. They didn't make any money on the money if they're paying it back out. But my thought was it was an insurance model. So every time money comes in, they make a float on it. So they reinvest that money in some way. They are investment company. They invest in loans and other students, or they could find some short term loan. So find something to give them returns. So the return to I did some calculations, math, and if they make 2.15% on every single dollar that comes into them, then they will double the payment. So they will be paying out the full lump sum, and wouldn't be losing any money from that.
But they have operations. But I like that. What was the threshold for them? What was the hurdle rate?
2.15% on every single payment that the student will be giving to them.
So as long as they keep an annual 2.15% rate.
And if you got more, they actually make money.
But at that level of funds, 2.15, I mean, you know how you got big money.
Yeah,
but still, I mean, there's 5% people there. There's I mean, the options. I get you. I'm with you.
I mean, that structure definitely reduces delinquency.
Yeah.
Because the burden definitely.
And I get that. The burden is low. And then, as Randy, when I Randy saw the tweet on it, his comment was that it's like I did say it on the show, so I stole your line. It's like an NHT refund of sorts. You get paid and then you get the money.
Shout out to people who got an NHT refund already.
Yeah.
It's probably the only place in Jamaica that pay you money, and they pay you so quickly that when you get notified, you've already been paid, man.
I mean, they have so much money that,
wow, I'm not going to say that.
sitting on so much cash.
They are sitting on heavy cash, but I think it's being utilized heavily now.
Yeah, for sure, but they're still sitting on so much.
That's good.
That goes to show you how much cash.
Don't make sense. Yeah.
Absolutely, it doesn't make sense.
But I suspect that those guys will be investing heavily now and being pushed to invest heavily.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of opportunities for them now, especially in the lower end of the housing market.
Yeah,
Not
man, for
even
sure.
low. Brother, can you buy a house right now?
No.
Jam T have 620
something. 600 something.
Say less than 700 square feet for an apartment, manor park, 1 bedroom, or is a flat or whatever.
Gone.
Starting at 20 million. It's a certain thing. So it's
Gone.
20 million for less than 700 square feet.
Wow.
20 million.
And it's
Starting
gone.
at. Of course, it's going to sell.
But let me ask though, is it that the pension funds are buying them up or actual people?
What do you mean?
What I think the
They're
pension
being
fund-
bought. They're being bought.
Does it matter?
Yeah, but you can
only
artificially inflate.
You think so?
A market.
You can, but you'd have to be able to.
Well, you can't artificial.
Yeah.
It's skin in the game, you know. Any market you spend money, you spend that money.
Fair enough. Outside of my area of competence, I don't know
It's
much
not
about this
though. It's
space.
well within your area of competence.
So let me leave that alone. I don't know. I was only speculating.
If my company buys, what does that focus sell?
Educational services, online access,
No, but yeah,
educational
what-
content,
What's it? Okay, like a course.
like a course. More or
Suppose
less.
I buy 500 sittings of the course. You get paid?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
But there's no guarantee that I'll have the same return. I'll have the same.
What was the
No, you
artificial?
kind of another matter now.
No, what was the artificial? So next year.
That is what I mean. That is what I mean by artificially.
So you're saying repeatable?
Yes.
So I get what you're saying, you know. So then maybe next year them do build another set of apartments. But you know what keep happening?
Yeah, but
as
people...
the man them announced the building itself, long before they even break ground.
Yeah, but shareholders also have an expectation that revenue will be consistent and also grow in the short term.
We do. Well,
So
no, I don't know about that. We have we have an expectation of it to not being consistent. Agreed. But has it been inconsistent?
And just to be clear, I'm not saying that again. I'm not saying that's a situation.
No, we understand this kind of talk. You don't worry about that.
Yeah,
oh gosh, I understand this. I welcome. I know the feeling, the weight of somebody who is going to misunderstand.
They'll hear that.
People listen.
Yeah.
So it's just say.
Yeah. Anyway, I think somebody's going to misunderstand.
Yeah, if there's a misunderstanding, I invite you back on and you can explain it again.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm not saying that's the case.
You want to pension them buy the place and them empty. Right? And it's not real. So it forms a form of housing bubble. I don't know.
I mean, I guess you can drive by the places and see if...
you own your home?
No, I don't.
Most of your peers own their own?
They're currently buying.
Most of your peers are currently buying.
And we'll probably buy. We being my wife and I will probably be buying in the short term.
And that's a bad thing, say it again.
It sounds good when you say it, no?
I wouldn't know. But
you wouldn't know, absolutely not. But maybe one day.
Okay. You know?
He was having his fun earlier, right?
No, you should. We're in season.
Remarks quiet.
So you want to know if it's fake buying and it's not real. Because we don't want to see these high rises going up on here. So
and they're empty.
Pensions buy it and it's just empty. But you need to worry about that if you have a pension. Because that means that there's income that they would expect that they're not getting. But is that actually happening? Something empty. You know nobody no live there? Okay. Pulse of an entire place in New Kingston where nobody no live. Right? It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but it's a good question, it's a good concern to have. I can't give you a definitive answer. I'd love, maybe we'll have a conversation about it. Maybe we'll put together something around, because it's a valid concern that people have, right? But we'll stray so far from the Trans-Jamaica. Jeremy, tell us anything about Trans-Jamaica?
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't said anything about it. So I am still doing my research. As I said, I did.
Same.
Yeah, man, I'm still doing my research. I've read through some of the prospectus. I've read through all of it. Victoria Mutual, the first one to put out the analysis.
That you saw.
That's the first one I saw. Sorry.
There we go.
The first one I saw was Victoria Mutual.
I like that. That's the de facto standard now.
Yeah,
you should have a voice. I remember when I was saying that it should be said. I like that it's the de facto thing now.
Yeah, so Victoria Mutual, I saw. They said, the price is good.
They did.
Yeah, they did actually. They said buy.
What they said.
They were saying it was valued at $1.86. Yeah, $1.86. So it's based on what is being put forward.
And it's coming forward to the market at.
Yeah, it's coming forward at $1.41.
Boom.
Yeah. So
you make some money.
Yeah, so you can make some money. That's what they were saying. I saw
how much?
30.
Yeah, I saw a summary from Scotia Investment. Didn't get to look through it fully. I saw IC Insider saying it was overvalued.
That's from John Jackson.
Yeah, so I'm looking around.
You read his article? You read why he said it was overvalued?
No, I didn't get to. I didn't get to it.
Let's read the articles. It's not good with just a headline.
Yeah, man. So I went into some skimming. When I'm skimming, I said, okay, cool. I use Pocket app, by the way. Big up Pocket app. So whenever you come across articles, you're able to save them to read for later.
We don't always
have time. So yeah, I have it in my pocket right now.
I need that.
I have it. Yeah, so I have it in pocket right now to really review. But as I said, I'm very interested. Just because somebody who probably goes on the highway at least 2 to 3 times a month.
Yeah. Just based on that alone, you need to buy it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So there's somebody who lives out of town. Somebody who their parents live out of town. Majority of my family lives out of town. So therefore,
you spend that money on the highway.
Spend the money on the highway. I understand the need for it. As Gordon say, it's a moat.
Yeah.
I see the potential for for the infrastructure projects that they want to put in place based on what they put into the prospectus. So I think I'm in. I'm in. I'm going to look a little bit more, but I'm in. I already know that how much I'm in for is up for debate based on what based on what I finish.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, if I could find $10 million to put on Trans, I'd put it on it.
Yeah. Strong recommendation. Yeah. I know somebody who put the money in. I know more than one person.
Yeah, I know people who have put in
millions.
Yeah, man. I know people who have looked at it and said, all right, well, Yeah, man. 20 million.
I get a call from my brethren.
It's closing on. It's opening on the 17th, right?
I don't know. But
You think it's going to close on the 17th when it opens, right?
It's not going to close on the 17th. It's going to remain open the whole time. But
The government wants all the people in it.
it's from the government. The government wants every single person to get the chance that they have. They want everybody to get an opportunity.
So give them more of a
And
chance.
they have the option to upsize, right?
Yeah.
And they keep options. And they're probably going to upsize too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, probably good.
Of course.
So, you know what, turn this into a Trans-Jamaica show. We don't have a time for it because we actually want to have a proper Trans-Jamaica show. So, I don't know. You guys are either hearing this after we've done one or you're hearing this before. So, you know something is coming.
Yeah, man. And looking at the qualitative also, just based on... I went to NCB today and couldn't get through.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
People,
I went to NCB today.
just in terms of crowd?
Yeah, crowd. People going over to Cat Market.
For trans.
Yes.
And I was at Barita the other day, same thing.
Barita
was packed.
A friend of mine works at JMB and she said JMB feel like a dance. Ram.
Yeah,
They're
man.
hot.
Yeah.
But JMB's a place for it, like they.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
JMB don't play with JMB's network.
Yeah, man. So
The retail network.
Yeah, man.
If you watch the industry like we watch the industry.
and we can also, just to say something very interesting, to put in a point, we talk about being underbanked. Really and truly, because of how the stock market is performing now, the publicity is getting, a lot of people are moving into the formal banking economy because they see, they have incentive. They have incentive and opportunity. Because you go in there, talk to an advisor say, okay, open an account. And you actually have something.
You're now in the network.
You're now in the bank network.
I want to in, you know.
Yeah, man. That's it.
Well, I want to wrap it. I'm really thankful that you guys came by. Really, really thankful that we had this. I don't know when we're dropping this, but when we're dropping it, I know it'll be good because it was a great conversation. Then I know how you feel, all the gentlemen, and what they've said.
I am good, man. Everything cool.
Oh, God. You give us more than that. People cuss me for some reason when you say that. You guys see know that is not me stopping.
Yeah, man. I see it.
Oh, Lord.
I like the business. I like what they're doing it for Jamaica. I've said that already. So, yeah, everything cool.
Yeah, and they're on top.
They can talk their business
they
really
know the
well,
stuff
and they can talk business in general really well. And they can talk startup.
And we don't know those who can run the gauntlet. So you know it go. You've listened, so you've heard it. 2 stocks, 1 year. You can't say none of the stocks you've said before. You can't say Trans-Jamaica. Thank you very much for what everybody's gonna buy. So say something else.
Lab and NCB.
Why?
Lab because they've not fulfilled a lot of their community mandates that they, well, I mean, not use the word mandates, but there are things that they communicate in their IPO that they have not done yet. So, for example, acquisition of company or companies, that is probably going to happen very soon. Lab is sitting on a lot of cash, a decent amount of cash that it needs a home, right? And the home is not in the bank account. So I'm expecting any day now for Lab to make some kind of announcement about the acquisition of a company. In fact, I feel like it's probably already done. It's just for it to be announced now. So Lab,
No, that's not how the gauntlet go, my friend. That's not how the gauntlet goes. How much is Lab today, Jeremy?
Let's get there.
Lab is probably like $2 something.
I'm talking about exact on this show, sir.
All right, so Lab
is $2.77.
Yeah, so Lab is $2.77. It will close the year. It will close the year.
No, well, it's 1 year, so you're coming back to February 2021.
February next year. It will close the year at about $4.70.
$4, no, February 2021, sir.
February 2021, $4.70.
Still, you're keeping it. That's fine.
Yeah.
$4.70 from how much now?
$2.77.
$2.77. So you're expecting a 69% increase.
Yeah.
In share price.
Did you read that exactly?
Again?
Did you read that exactly?
No.
I worked it.
No.
You mean if he was aiming for that? No, he just pick a number.
Pick the number.
So you think Lab buying something that's going to definitely make them grow 60%?
Yeah, not only the acquisition, but what it will bring to the company itself. The amount of expanded value. I mean, Lab is still a baby. Like Lab has a lot. 10 years in the game, but they're really just getting started. Right? So big up Kimala, big up the entire leadership team. Sorry to see that you're no longer on it.
No, good. No, they're good. No. We're good.
I know they're not missing you. It won't make a difference, really.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. No, I don't know what that. No, I feel bad.
Oh, shit.
Big up Kimala, big up the lab team.
We bring him up while we just pull him down quick. Proven. Proven's are decent. Actually, no, not proven.
There we go.
Sygnus. Yeah, man. The JMD.
Yeah, we're going to ban
The JMD.
Everybody
Sygnus JMD.
Yeah. It's just 80-something companies on the exchange, right? How come we only hearing about these five?
Yeah, but keep hearing these ones.
Well, here's what.
No, it's fine.
I picked a company.
Sygnus is $24.16. How much you expect from them next year this time?
next year, February.
Yeah.
$34.20.
$34.20. You're thinking that you're going to have. I have to laugh sometimes because I know what you base it on a while ago, God.
Tell me what the percentage works out to.
What percentage are you looking for?
Just tell me what the percentage works out to, and I'll explain.
84%.
They're going to raise a lot of cash soon, and they're going to.
It works out to 41%.
Well, I know it wasn't 81%, clearly.
Yeah, 41.5, 41.6%. But that's strong nonetheless. Sygnus is now, well, obviously much bigger than they were. It's harder to move in terms of what profit takes for them. So.
Yeah, man. They have a lot of decent deals on the table. You saw that they did the acquisition of that company. Which country was it the other day?
I don't know. I thought you were telling us.
I don't remember the name of
it. We are there when we record the podcast, right? Aruba. They acquired Aruba Wines and Spirits.
Yeah, man. Yeah. They have some other plays like that coming up.
Yes.
Best believe. They have some decent plays coming up. That's just one thing they have in their pocket, and it's probably their smallest play.
Yeah, I like
So look
that.
out for some decent stuff from Sygnus. And I can stand by that stock price.
I like that. I like that one. Jermaine, I'm going to make it harder for you because you talk more than God. I couldn't believe that. So you have to give us, how sharp do you think you are at this thing?
I'd say
1 to 10.
Okay,
10 is good.
You guys should do a recap next year of what people said.
We'll do it. We do it all the time.
Like even written.
I'd say about 7.5.
7.5% is what you're looking at?
7.5 out of 10.
The guests and right.
Oh, you think you're 7.5 out of 10?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What you said?
Yeah, man.
Who do you think is a 10?
I mean...
No, Jesus. Alright, so you think you're 7.5
Yeah, I give myself 7.5.
In that case, you definitely have to pick something that's going to go.
Okay, I mean, so...
100%.
Oh, no, man, I can't.
Pick your focus.
So, I mean, I can only look at the...
is listening.
Just kidding, we're not listed. I don't know about that.
I only can think about the stuff that I'm watching. I did make... it was something I spoke about earlier, but I'll repeat it.
No, man, pick something new, because you have a whole bunch of things on the list. I can see it.
No, man, I spoke about all these already, actually. See, because I talk so much, I already talk about all the things.
You said.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, I spoke about JMB. I spoke about JMB, right? I would say JMB...
What price?
$54.75.
$54.75.
Huh? Yeah.
Because it fell from that.
Yeah, it fell. So it go up.
That's what you're expecting.
That's
to
what
go
I'm
back
expecting.
to?
I'm expecting it to go back up to there.
In what time?
In a year.
In a year. How much are they right now?
They are now at $43.11.
$43.11. So you're expecting a 27% growth in 1 year. I like them kind of numbers. Both you and Garden showing steady numbers.
Yeah.
The market rose by 31% last year. You're actually below it.
Yeah. So as I said about JMB has they have a young banking business. But I said they're still very young in banking, so there's a lot for them to do over there. Now with their Visa debit card rollout, there'll be a lot of money around fees for transactions, e-commerce, doing a lot of e-commerce, point of sales, those kind of fees. You're also looking at them doing a lot of work around investing and brokering IPOs. So, I mean, and I can just talk about. And I'll just talk about qualitative and also qualitative stuff. Like, I mean, experiencing JMB, I can see why people want to keep their money over there. I'm a client, yes.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
JMB.
Yeah, man. So you want to buy what you consume, right? You want to buy what you consume, and I consume JMB heavily. Okay. So I'll say, I mean, that's the reason why I believe that JMB will go up.
Buy where you bank. I agree with that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I also bank at NCB.
Buy where you bank. The rule is the same. Big up NCB too. Yeah, man. Strongly. Yeah, Virgin. On this fact, when you listen to the podcast, you know how much.
Yeah. NCB. And another company I'd asked about was Victoria Mutual. I did ask about Victoria Mutual because I'm very interested in it. I think I'm looking for some deeper research. But as I said, I look at qualitative. I look at when people are poised for growth, and there are opportunities for them to kind of diversify.
That sounds nice. Let me help you. Just you don't need the fancy talk. Look at how they make money. Look at what they're doing to make more money in that sector.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, very simple. Yeah. I guess I break it down to being very simple. That's so with this acquisition, with them going into...
What kind of money can that acquisition bring?
So it can definitely bring them... So to digital distribution, it can bring them a lot more money around lending.
More. I'm actually helping. That's how you say you want to go deeper. That's what you do. Look at what kind of money that company can bring. Look at a company of that type and that size. What kind of money does that company bring? And estimate something around that and imagine that that's what's happening with them. But look at where they are. Maybe the company that bought is actually returning a loss for them. So maybe that company need a little bit of fixing up before them get in.
Yeah, for sure.
So, well, not for sure. We don't know. But
What I'm saying, for sure
deeper.
to dig deeper into those things. Yeah.
And all you have to do is estimate what kind of money that will bring. And then add that on to them current numbers, assuming that they can repeat their current. So you make sure that what's in their current is stuff that's repeatable.
Yeah.
If it's not, you just do the repeatable part. You can give yourself a little wiggle room, add that in, add in what you think the new things are that they do, like in the new acquisition or whatever, the investment banking. Think about where those lines of business are going. And then look and see what your number is. See what that revenue number is. Work out an average in terms of expenses, in terms of what they've done before in the past. See what that projected profit is. And if that projected profit is X ahead of where we are now, then you have an idea of something that you can look forward to. That's how it is. Okay. And you only know you're right or you're wrong when it happens.
Yeah, when it actually happens. Yeah. So, I mean, what I'm looking at for Victoria Mutual, the price definitely has dropped a lot in the past couple of weeks.
And it's currently at?
It's currently at $10.08. $10.08, yeah.
Cents.
Okay. Yeah, $10.08.
And you think that that's undervalued?
And I think it's undervalued. I mean, I guess I'm looking a lot more at qualitative stuff, as I said, and then I dig deeper. But I do think it can go up by at least 42%.
40.
I'm going to give you 42%.
On V-Mill in a year, and it's currently at
so when I guess you guys will do a gauntlet review, right? And then say, okay, well,
here.
Huh?
Yeah. But this year could be the year where they buy something and they have to fix it up.
Yeah.
So, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, the thing about it, it is partially speculation, right? And speculation,
educated speculation,
analysis, and some analysis and some speculation, right?
No, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just speculation.
And when they know everything is going on, then they know too much to be making a.
Yeah.
The
people that are people in the company they're restricted from buying.
Yeah.
That's why the market rules are there.
Yeah, man. But I do firmly believe in the JMB though. Like, while I might be a little bit shaky on VML on Victoria Mutual, JMB, very solid on that. I might even
more,
I'm going to look, but I might even be below.
Below?
Yeah, I might even be below.
How much did it present?
27%. I'm saying I might even be below. Like I'm sure they have other stuff coming up.
Did he never mention Sagicor Financial at all and everything he said?
That's what I was laughing at. It's based on him saying,
I like about
it cheap.
Yeah, like about the skittle, like the biggest things for all of the things he talk about, right? Yeah. But that's good. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing because if you seen all these other things and you say, that's good enough to buy in, and there's a
when something good is you by surprise, it's like,
them also buy 5%.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, no, I can tell because you didn't mention it.
I totally forgot about it. Interestingly, I was when the deal was being done, I spoke to my sister and I was like, interested you get some gym.
I've now forgotten who owns who.
You forgot who owns who?
Somebody should do a little chart showing which banks
own one. I've spoken about publicizing it. I can't publicize everything.
Publicize it, man. You get some good feedback on it. The banks would love it.
Here's hoping. You have anything else you guys want to wrap with? You want to tell anybody anything? You want to big up anybody? This is your last chance.
I think some good stocks coming. I think some good companies are coming on the market this year.
Okay. People. People listening, friends, family.
Big up my wife.
You already done that part. What I meant anybody else?
Big up my chairman, Peter Levy. Big up my other directors who are on Twitter, Grace Lindo. Max Jardim.
Grace Lindo knows a lot about IP, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, there we go. She's one of the IP experts.
She's been on our board for a bit. Big up Renee Rattray, Max Jardim.
No, I guess you really... I'm happy that you did that and you have a heavy set of names. Germany seems set you up.
No, I'm quite fine. Big up to Romario Raffington, of course.
Big up Romario.
Big up Romario, of course.
Raffington. Bricks pan bricks.
Big up to my advisor at JMB. Shaquille Laing.
Yeah.
Big up to my sister, Shanti. interestingly, that's the person I talk to about stocks the most.
Word.
Yeah, man.
She invests.
Yeah, man, she invests.
How old is she?
She's 20. She just turned 25.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
And big up Danai and Randy for having us on your program. It was a decent talk.
For sure.
And thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. It's a great
Big up
conversation.
all the
Doggo
friends
saw me
and family.
tonight.
Oh,
Yeah? Again?
Doggo saw me tonight.
I'm so sorry.
Because I told her 10. Yeah.
big up to all the friends and family who put into our friends and family debt round that has allowed us to lend. You know,
That's right. The money.
yeah.
That's right.
Big up our investors.
Yeah?
Big up the focal investors.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, big them up.
Exactly.
You just your family? Oh boy, yeah, but big up the investors, big up the people that have helped you guys push your dream to where you
Yeah,
are.
man.
Yeah, and big up to the
Everybody.
people in the future are going to push you even further. in
Yeah,
any
man,
way
yeah, for
possible.
sure.
Yes, I'm happy to hear that, guys, and we've been joining.
Nothing wrong with wealth, you know.
I
Wealth
would
is
like to see
encouraged.
it.
Wealth is, especially for young people. It's good to see young people like yourselves, Dana and Randy, you know, just acquiring a lot of wealth and
I don't know if I acquire wealth.
acquire a lot of wealth.
Shut up.
Acquiring a lot of wealth, and it should be encouraged and it should be embraced. Because I mean, it's conscious capitalism is what we're encouraging.
Yeah. And then that is big. That is something big. I like that. I'll end on that. Tell me an effort that each of you have done or would like to do to give back, because I think that's a major thing.
Well, we've been giving back every year. EduFocal in cash, we've paid out maybe $5-6 million over the last 7 years to kids.
like that.
Yeah, like raw cash, not just hopes and dreams.
What
Cash.
do you pay it out for?
Anything they want to do, we write them a check and they do whatever they want to do. Buy school supplies, whatever they want to do.
Okay.
In kind, we've probably contributed computers, we've contributed books, we've contributed so many things. I mean, I've always said that you don't need to be a big company to give back. You start
don't.
at you
And you
start
have to be a rich person to do
exactly.
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes it's just you just giving your time.
Yes.
And I mean, especially my wife is especially has kind of cultivated that attitude of just giving.
Because she donates a lot of her time. At least I've seen that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I mean, she love her. So we got my wife.
She's not going to hear this before you get home. Yo, stop it. If you're getting cussed, you're getting cussed. I'm so
We
sorry.
got my wife.
It's part
No
of
man,
the
for
process.
real. No, it's real love, man. It's real love, real love, for real, real love. Growth is a real thing.
Definitely not letting him in.
Growth is a real thing, you know what I mean? And
But I do like the fact that, as you said, I like that you credit her for that, because I don't know her personally, I've only seen it, but she's visibly giving.
Yeah.
And she's young.
and
that's
ropes me in, so I have no choice.
So you go.
Yeah.
Each one to each one.
Yeah, man.
Jermaine, what have you been doing?
Yeah, so mostly around training, building skills, mostly digital skills for young people. So I've participated in a few programs, being a mentor or just helping to write curriculum for persons who want to basically acquire 21st century skills. We live in a resource scarce country. Our real resources are people. So it makes sense for us to develop our people in a way that they can earn income and also contribute. So that's the work I've been doing and the work I hope to do more of, in the future.
All right. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear it. From me, I am very, very happy to have had both of you gentlemen here. I said it a couple of times. Then I'm same thing. Glad for this episode. I think it has gone on long enough. I'm happy that you guys have been here. We'll ask both of you at some point to come back in the future. But thank you. And I'm glad to hear that this has been happening. I'm Randy at RT Row.
And I'm Danai at H-Danai.
And this has been earning season. You guys want to give you at? You want to give it one last time? You want to
At
get
Gordon
that club?
Swiby on Twitter, at Gordon Swiby on Instagram.
There we go.
At Jermaine Henry on Twitter, at Jermaine Henry on Instagram.
At Braffington.
At Braffington.
That's not his actual.
That's not his at. You want to give him at?
Yeah,
too,
man,
if you want.
Romario Raffington at Romario Raff on Instagram and on Twitter.
All right.
Bless
Perfect.
up.
Thank you, guys. Earning season. Thank you, gentlemen, so much.
Talk about
I'm
it.
going to try.
Tweet about it.
Earning season, bro.